Okay, hello. Sorry about the little dead air there at the start. Um, we are going. I am right here now, finishing up the blanks for this wand I've been talking about the last couple days. I'm going to try to make a nice wand for a death mage. My ultimate goal is hopefully when we get the new offhand death item, the Anapa's favor. I'm hoping to be able to, hopefully we'll be able to get that enchantable, and then I'm going to want to run a single Death Wand with that off after I respec to Death's Sun. So, this is just another step in that direction. We took a couple steps before. We talked about it a little bit before. I'm going to try to lean into. I'm going to try to be a fairly critty Death Mage, big crits and fairly frequently. We'll see how that works, but I've gone with Rock Maple for that reason and Carapace strap on it, which will give just a tiny little bit of crit chance bonus, but better than not having. So these are fairly expensive blanks. I've made quite a few of them. I'm actually turning out 350 of them, and we're going to immediately set aside all the +2s, all the non-exceptionals that have 100 durability because they don't have enough durability to do what we want to accomplish. Now we're actually going to work these pretty work them pretty hard. Ultimately, my goal, ideally, will be landing at a 3 masterwork, 5 enchant piece. Which, if you do it, well, if you're lucky enough to do it with no fails, which is very unlikely, you would end at 54 durability. You can tolerate one fail and still end at 29 durability. And if you have 2 fails, you'd end at 4 durability, which for a wand is actually still usable, or not. And for a wand of that quality, it'd be worth doing major repairs on it. But naturally, we're going to want higher durability, especially since at higher durability, you'd be a little more liberal with using bludgeon skills. So we've got just a couple more minutes here, probably about 3 or 4 minutes more of this crafting. Not the most interesting part, just a little progress bar, and then we'll really get into the fun stuff. And we'll get into the expensive stuff, and we'll talk about why that stuff is expensive, and also where the cost goes and how to recuperate some of that cost. Because, like I said, I will be discarding immediately all these non-exceptionals. I won't be discarding them. I'll be setting them aside. You can still make a very good wand. In fact, you could turn any one of these non-exceptionals with a little bit of luck on the rolls into something that's probably about 80% as good as what we're going to make here today, hopefully. And it'll cost you not even 10% the cost of what we're about to spend, making this very nice one. So it really is a matter of diminishing returns and paying a whole lot extra and putting in a whole lot of extra work for what is admittedly a very small extra bonus. But doing it here at the front, first of all, it's a fun thing to do. I really like this type of crafting. But also doing it at the front here, I'll hopefully have the only wand I will need for the entire time I'm in that Death Sun build, which might not be that long. It's probably mostly a vacation from being a melee character, but I'd like to go in with the hey, yep, Soda Math Crafting Lottery. That's what we're doing here today. We're doing a whole lot of rolls. Good to see you, Skeggy. So once these get finished up, I'll set a bag aside and I'll finish up these rock maples. And we're going to start on the masterwork side for a couple of reasons. One of which is a lot of these that we start working, we'll determine they're not going to get us to where we want to go before we even get a gem in them. And they'll still be able to make one of those high-end wand, a very good quality wand, something with maybe 90 or even 95% of the quality of what we're after. And again, at a fraction of cost, and since they won't be gemmed to death yet, they'll be able to be turned into any type of wand. We'll gem them and then put the attunement on, and maybe another school-specific thing like soothing rain power or fire damage, or in the case of death, we're actually going for death ray power. Yeah, oh yeah, lots of wands. Lots of wands today. We're starting out with 350 blank wands. We'll see how many exceptionals we get. My exceptional rate is 29, so we're hoping for, you know, a decent number of them, maybe about 100 of them that are +1, or, you know, +3 in this case. And our best case scenario is to end in the 50s. That's very, very unlikely. We're hoping to end about 29 durability after we get 3 Masterworks and 5 enchants on it, and that would allow us 1 fail. Which again is also it's a very difficult task, but we'll see how we go. All right, only 7 more, so I will start transferring these over. Alright, get a couple bags there. And we're just going to dump all our +2s in them. And this is, I mean, this is a long, long supply. There'll be new guild members and wands on vendors and just little experiment wands to try different things. I'll be pulling out of these bags for a long time making those, because these are still high-quality wands. In fact, to make these 350 blanks took about 300 beetles and about 4,000 maplewood. So, there's a lot that went into these. Got one more right here at the end. We'll see if he's lucky enough to come out exceptional. But you know, they'll last for a long time, and again, they do have potential to be great. You know, not the best top end wands, but very good ones, even when they're not exceptional. All right. So we ended up with how many of the exceptionals that we could start on? 101. Very nice. So we're shooting for about 100. Got 101 of them. Very nice indeed. I'm going to go ahead and set aside the non-exceptionals. We do seem to be missing one. Why do we only make 249? Huh. I don't know. I might have miscounted something somewhere. Okay. Now we are going to start on the masterwork, and we're actually going to be fairly, at first at least, we're going to be fairly strict about what we're shooting for on the masterwork. We are going to get our durability first, and then we are going to try for spell damage and then crit damage in that order, because putting them in that order will give us the best possible stat. Now, we're not just going to throw something away if we don't get that order that we want, but we're definitely going to set aside the ones that do get that order as being our best candidates. So I actually need to get a small bag for that as well. And actually, I'll just open up 2 to make the sorting a little easier. I probably should have started with more bags, but we'll make it work. Okay. Now, so rock maple wand +3. All right. Let's get our maple bands on. And I might have to clean out a little bit of inventory as we get rolling here. So these we're just going to roll through real quick, and I'm going to go all the way to the end because of the way this stuff pops up. You're very likely, even without a revision, or even on your last screen of the revisions, you're very likely to we'll set this. Let's go ahead and lock everything we're not going to be working so it doesn't pull it over. I made a couple to double check all my numbers, make sure I had the durability numbers right in my head, because I actually did map out the durability for this. So even if you just press really strictly through all these, you're likely at the end to get at least spell crit damage, durable, or spell just regular spell damage by the time you've pressed all the way through to the end. So that's what I'll be doing, because it's a low risk thing, and it'll let us get that durability on there first, because it's always plus 30 durability no matter the order it gets applied in. The other items, the other masterworks, if they get applied later, they will be better stat. And of course, because it is RNG, you will occasionally roll all the way through it and not even get the durability once. But there's not a lot of options on Wand Masterworks and Staff Masterworks, so you do end up seeing the same stuff over and over again as you hit revise. It's very rare I can revise all the way through and not see every option at least once for this portion of it. You see, it took 1, 2, 3. So on our 7th, it took until our 7th attempt before we didn't get durability at all. And we'll still be using that one. We'll apply durability to it later. I have the choice there between the damage and the crit, just base spell damage and spell crit damage. The reason I took the spell damage is, again, to push back that crit damage until later and have a greater number be applied to the wand. Now, as we go through all this, it will get a lot less repetitious and kind of boring, just pounding stuff out. In fact, I probably should have pre-prepared some, because it does take a second to go through real quick. I mean, we're getting through pretty quickly, but as we kind of cull all of these guys, we'll have fewer and fewer very quickly. It'll very quickly drop off to fewer and fewer candidates to be our best wand. So most of the crafting time in this is just making the wood. Well, actually, most of the time in it is gathering, but I don't gather. I purchase my supplies with my spoils from adventuring, because I'm a very poor gatherer, both in terms of my skills and just the discipline for it. So most of the time was put in gathering materials by other people that I was very happy to pay for their effort. After that, a lot of it's refining the wood. It was about 4,000 maple wood that went into this, about 300 beetles. It seems like it would be more if you do the math on it, but there's a refining bonus that you get to double dip on the carpentry side, or the milling side. So you get your refining bonus for making your initial maple timbers, and then you need 4 maple timbers to go down into each rock maple timber. And so you get the refining bonus twice. You get it for each of those steps. So that helps a bit. I do have a fairly high milling refining bonus. It's not my strongest. But in the long run, it really saves a lot of materials and time. So you see, we still only have one that we didn't get the durability to come up on. And here's our second, and we actually do have to take crit damage, unfortunately. So we'll put that in there, over in the not absolutely perfect pile. So far, this is the first step. It's a 95% chance. We also haven't failed yet. You'd expect to fail about 1 in 20 on a 95% chance, so we will get some fails, and those will be, we won't bother working those at all today. One thing I did, I should have clipped it so I could drag it over here on screen, put it as an overlay, but I've worked out my preferred order, but also just the damage, or the durability. So we're starting at a base durability of 100 for a wand. If it gets an exceptional, you get that extra 50 durability, so it's 150 durability. Then now we're immediately applying 30 more durability to take it to 180 durability. And that's as high as you can get on a wand. You can't ever get more than 180 durability on a wand. And then we're going to immediately start chewing it away. The spell damage and spell crit will each take 10 out, so we'll drop back down to 170. Then I want to try to get major health since it's a death wand and health is very important for Death Mage. And I also want to try to get Major Int. Both of those will take 28 durability out each. The Death Ray power is incredibly important. It's in fact essential for what I'm doing here. That'll take out 30 durability. And then the enchantment luckily doesn't take... we finally got our first fail there. And almost right on schedule. 95%. We got through 23 of them without that. But the attunement will won't take any durability out, which is very good. Depending on your fail pattern, you do have to apply that earlier because you won't be able to work a wand that's below 30 durability. So we have to make sure we don't try to hold off our attunement to be the last enchant anyway. And then that leaves us room for one more regular enchant, which in this case will be hopefully Int, or health would be fine too. And that'll be all 5 enchants, and that would be a 54 durability wand if nothing failed. If we get one failure, that'll take out 25 durability. A failure either here on the masterwork table or on the enchanting table, on the alchemy table for enchanting, take out 25 durability. We won't process any wands at all that have a durability loss here at the masterwork table. We do, for the purpose of this project, we'll probably work them later at some point. And then if you had a second fail, you would have to be careful about the order you were applying stuff to even be able to work it. But you could end up with one that had 4 durability that actually was still a 3 masterwork 5 enchant wand, and it would still be viable and usable. So you'd have to keep on top of the repairs. Being a non-artifact wand, the repairs aren't terribly difficult to keep on top of, though, luckily. Lots and lots of silver, yeah. In fact, I might need to get more silver halfway through this. I checked, and I actually I sold like a couple thousand silver yesterday. And I didn't realize how short I was on silver. So we will see. And Irish Eye, it's good to see you out there too. Sorry, I missed a little bit of chat there. I had brought up the sheet that I mapped the durability out on so I could read off it. Make sure I'm giving you guys accurate numbers. Alright. And like I said, we're getting through it pretty good. We are still in the point where we just, have to kind of press through and burn all these get the durability into all these. The pace is going to pick up really quick, especially when we get to the third masterwork, because it's only a 54% chance to succeed. So 46% of our wands at that point are just going to get a fail on them, and I'm going to set them aside and not work more today. So we're still doing pretty good. What are we at? Oh, we're only at 35. Well, we're still getting there. We're getting close to being due for another fail here on the first masterwork. One cool thing about this type of crafting is you really do see the RNG that is here, 95% stuff like that. When you start crafting at the scales of doing hundreds or even thousands of items, like in the processing of this wood and stuff, you'd start doing enough samples where like the actual percent numbers start lining up perfectly with what's expected, because you finally have a large enough sample size to actually see that you're rolling, the rolls are accurate, or at least couldn't possibly deviate much from what's displayed. I do think these numbers tend to be rounded and tend to be carried out with a more extended decimal. So if it takes you 10 levels to go from a 27% chance at an exceptional to a 28% chance at exceptional, I think if you actually go 5 levels, you will actually be at, you'll be halfway between that. and you will get to roll on that extra 0.5 decimal. I don't have any proof of that, and I haven't done like you do like tens of thousands of samples to do that, to show that. But I really do suspect strongly that's the case. It'd be nice to if that came up one time in a dev stream or something, and they checked it and confirmed it, or confirmed that it wasn't the case. All right. This is also a very nice time. I was talking a moment ago about how even the wands that are for this, the purpose of this, not what we're after, you'll still, this is going to result in lots of very nice wands, very high-end wands. So, incidentally, if there's anyone out there needing a wand at this point, that's critical. Needing a wand at this point, or even just need some blanks to work on to try to make their own nice wand. These aren't really blanks you would just put a bunch of ingots into just to practice and build skill. You'd want to make a wand you're going to use because they do have the nicer material, the rock maple and the carapacian strap. But let me know when we got plenty here. I'm happy to share it around. Alright, the durable there. Not doing too bad on missing the durables on them either. You can't do this sort of thing, just press through and expect to get all the durables, or all of any given stat on different tables. Something like doing wings, if any of you guys were around for that stream, you might remember you get a ton of options because you have the minor decks, you have the major decks, you have the strength, you have well, not the strength, but the int, fall damage, all this stuff that pollutes the table, as it were. So you can't as reliably press through and expect to get at least one shot at the stat you're after, and obviously certainly not the majors. But wands here not having majors for those purposes is a huge difference, and not having just nearly as many things to pick from. I do have to admit, if I were going to do this again, something on this scale, which I probably will, I won't just prepare all the wands beforehand, or all the blanks beforehand. I'll also go through and apply this durability beforehand, because this is, quite a bit of the same thing over and over. But it gives us a little chance to talk too. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions, if you're also crafters out there, I specifically tried to emphasize in the title that this is just kind of my strategy for doing it. This is just the way I craft. There are different strategies for crafting, just like combat, for people that prioritize different things or just have a different style about it. So I always love to hear from other crafters about what they would do different, or maybe, why are you doing it like that? I do it like this, and I get a better result than you're getting. So I always love hearing that stuff from folks as well. As much as I love answering questions, I also love learning from other crafters. All right, so we're at we got 1,500 ingots still, so that's not bad. We do 300 pieces of work, so we will actually be fine on ingots. I'll have to pull gold off a vendor though to do the enchant side of it. That's no problem though. I have plenty of that listed. Also, I need to list more buy orders. If any of you are gatherers, miners, wood, everything, I think I have several thousand wood orders still listed. I'm going to list a bunch of ore orders as well. And I tried to pay, because a lot of the vendors around here are a lot of it is to buy from and sell to newer guild members at a fair price, because it's hard to determine the prices for a lot of things here. Like my wood orders right now are at 120 gold per, which is a little bit highish right now. Or no, I think they might be 110 now, because people were filling like over 10,000 wood at 120k or at 120 per, and I couldn't afford it anymore. So, I try to keep very fair prices on that stuff. And if you notice some of my buy orders are old and the market has moved on and I'm offering too little money for something, let me know, and I'll almost always adjust it upwards if the market's moved on and I've just not caught it yet. But I do appreciate every time people fill buy orders, and also because it's for new, a lot of it's for new guild members as well. I will do big stacks of like 1,000 ore, but I'll also do like ones with just 10 ore or 10 wolf heads or 10 whatever. And for harder stuff to get like beetles, even single buy orders for single beetles. So hopefully that makes it easier to get a little gold in the start, because that could be hard. Even when you have valuable assets or things you've gathered, it can be hard to turn them into gold that you need. Yeah, exactly. Spend a lot of gold. I mean, every step of the crafting process that you're willing to do, and there are people that craft like Crossfire Bug's Eye is a great one. A great example is there's people that craft that do everything, the whole entire chain, from the gathering to the processing, making gear, and then selling gear, and making the gear they use. And the more of that you do, you save a bunch of gold each time. Spend a lot of time, but yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll put our crampons on and we'll push it up as hard as we can. I mean, I guess it's appropriate we chose rock maple. How you doing today, Mimner? I'm doing okay. This is actually for all the difficulty and stuff, this is one of the more fun things in the game for me. I do really love this stuff. No, you take Demon Hoof to the alchemy table, and there's a recipe you can get from the POT alchemy vendors to make ground Demon Hoof, and it's actually a very good XP recipe. If you have some Demon Hoofs, grind those out, and you actually get good XP from it. And then making the Demon Tea, which is what that's for, is also good XP. So if anyone has hooves out there and wants a little crafting XP, process those hooves into Demon Tea. Very easy to make. Well, you need decent skill levels in the actual on those actual tables, but it's just tea and ground Demon Hoof, and you get good XP out of it. So I remember, anyone that came in, POT magic vendors should have it. So just in Mysteria, go to the the one that sells all the reagents and stuff, and they should have it for you. At least I think. If not, the magic vendor and Owl's Head does. But I think it's on the POT ones. But for anyone that came in, what we're trying for here, this wand we're trying for is a 3 Masterwork 5 enchant wand, which is why, death wands. Hopefully one specific death wand. Also, I'm going to do this in a way that I'm going to hold off putting the necromancy gem in until between the second and third enchant. Just so that anything before that, which will include no fail wands that have on them and good stats on them. Yeah, well, that's what we're trying for. We'll see. We get 2 chances technically. We could technically do 2 fails, but you end on 4 durability, and obviously you have to do the order appropriately so that you don't end up at 29 durability and unable to put on your last piece of work. And so you have to hold off like the death ray, but then obviously holding off the death ray is very risky because you need that on that wand And so if you get, although by the time you roll your 5th enchant, for Death Ray not to come up would be, I mean, you've taken you've taken 4 enchants out of the pool already. But not going with max focus, going durability, spell damage, crit damage, preferably in that order, because I'm going to try to be really critty. It might not work out. This might, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to lean into crit, and when this new stuff comes out and stuff, really try to see how far you could push it in that direction. Hence the rock maple and the carapacian strap on it. Yeah. So this is partly. I mean, I don't. It's partly in preparation, speculation of that, but also I just when I did Death Mage as a side build, I went hard maple on stuff and just got that base damage up, and I really liked it. But I figured if I'm doing it again, and I'm doing it as a proper spec, it'd be a lot of fun to try the crit stuff. And yeah, as more of that stuff comes in, I really am hoping to take it to its absolute extreme. Oh, for sure, and it should really help balance that out. I think by boosting up the power of everything else, which isn't necessarily the happiest way to do it, but I also don't see it as a ton of a problem when there's if the fire mages are already running out at it, running around at that very high power. So, oh well, look at that, we're finally getting towards the end. Also, talk about beating the odds. I was saying before that one of the nice things about these really big, crafting sessions is you start getting a decent sample size. We've actually failed one of our first enchants here so far. What's displaying is a 95%. Chris has mentioned that as you get to that number, it might cap on display, and you might actually get better numbers than that. But we've only had one fail so far, and we've rolled through now a bit over 80 wands, 85 wands about by the looks of it. But it does seem I very, very rarely fail on the first. Even the second chance, I a lot of times I feel like I'm getting better than 92%. But then you get those you know how streaky RNG is. Alright, and we are gonna very quickly here get. I gotta take the critical first. We have enough of these that came out very well that I am just gonna set these aside for now, these other ones. And I will come back to them if we absolutely need to at the end. But for the time being, we have the durability. We have enough with the durability on first. I'd rather just press on with those. And again, we're going to try to get spell damage and then spell crit. But we'll see what happens. But having the durability on first will at least give us better numbers on both of those, even if we don't get the better numbers from being in the same order that we want. No, I know, we're just running ahead of it at the moment. But Chris has said on stream, it's been like six or 8 months ago now, though, that some of these numbers are actually more in your favor than is displayed. The 95 it stops at isn't a hard cap. And you probably know you could bring your second, if your skill's high enough, you could bring your second attempt up to 95 as well. So I don't know if in all that time your first percentage isn't going up. He indicated it actually might be, even though it's not displayed. We are getting out. Okay, now this next pass is going to start dropping stuff out, definitely at a higher rate. But the big one is going to be the third one, where we're so close to a coin flip that this process is going to start going faster and faster as we move on. And we're really going to start being pretty, aggressively. I don't want to say discarding, because I don't want people to think that this is all wasted materials and that all this goes into make that it actually takes like 4,000 wood or something to make a wand, which again is only going to be a few percent better than one that would take a very maybe 10% as many materials. But these aren't going to be discarded. I'm going to set them aside, and they're still going to make great wands, and for any number of builds. So it's not all going to need to find 100 death mages to take them. But we will start setting them aside at a pretty brisk pace here coming up. Spell damage, at least we get to take first. Hey, there's another. And our last one. I would have been funny that happened on our last one. Okay, we're... Yeah... Oh, but we didn't get the durability pop-up. Also, that time I only had 3 revisions, because, I usually get more than that at this level. Which is another thing you start building your kind of intuition for, is how often you'll be able to hit that revise. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go over here, and again, I should have grabbed more bags. I think what I will do is just take this bag, and it'll be easy enough to sort it by durability. Later, I will grab all these guys that we're going to work later. And again, this is a +1 wand that has well, these all have either spell critical damage or spell damage on them, which is something you want on pretty much every wand you're making. So these are still very good, very high quality blanks that'll make very good wands. And for 95, for almost every wand I ever make, I would be fine with the durability not coming up first. I wouldn't even consider these anything but going right on track. But for these purposes, we're going to give our best shot to making the best one first, and then we will start coming up on other stuff, and we'll talk about kind of the decisions in that as they come up and how I take them. And hopefully if there's any other crafters out there that like to do things differently, I would love to hear that as well. Or any other crafters that have a question as to why I do something, something else that I just kind of blow past, or something that doesn't make sense. Happy to try to answer that as well for you. Every time I go to a table and come back, I try to check those rings just compulsively to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Alright, so now we're going to masterwork. Now, ideally, we will take a spell damage masterwork, and then we will do the spell crit after that. I will separate those. I am going to need a third bag. We'll use this wing bag that we had the other day. I will separate the based on the order, so we can take our best shot first. But again, it's not the ones I'm putting that make it through that get even spell crit first. They're still right on track to be great one. Just not literally the absolute best. And that's why it says we're attempting an almost perfect, good, top quality wand. Because to actually get something perfect with everything in the right order is just so ridiculously unlikely. Alright, so damage first, that's exactly what we want. This is riskier, pushing it all the way to the end like this. Because now we have a smaller pool, we might get to the end and be more likely that we don't have something we particularly want. And so we're playing this on, we're taking 10 durability off with each of these. This is where our durability for now on just going to go lower and lower. You notice it's 4.2% spell damage I'm applying though instead of 4.1. So that's how minor a difference that the order is making. It's just 0.1%. So again, that's, you know, those, when you really do stuff like this and you really do focus on making it just really as best as you possibly can, you're putting a lot of attention and a lot of effort and a lot of materials into incredibly small advantages. Which is why I often find myself telling people, especially newer players, that look at this really expensive gear and say, I can never afford that. You know, I try to point out when I can that you can actually, if you pay, you know, 10% that much, or a small fraction of that much gold, you can actually get something that it really is like 90% as good. You know, it's almost exactly the same gear. Alright, so that one had the crit first, so it's 4.2 crit instead of 4.3 or maybe 4.4 depending on how it's rounded. Let's see when I get to the other one. And we are still, you know, rolling through a decent number of wands here. If we don't work these immediately right now, which we probably won't, it will represent, you know, a decent fall off again. And then we'll go to our big fall off, which is third chant, our third masterwork, where we'll be losing roughly half of our pieces. Alrighty. So again, that small pool of possible stats that we're pulling for this masterwork side, you know, we get what we want most of the time. Ooh, I just passed spell damage by accident. That was a mistake right there. So this one we will pull off to here. Again, that's not something you could do on when you're making a lot of stuff. On the tailoring table, it's usually a lot more difficult. There's a lot more options, and on enchanting for a lot of items, it's a lot more difficult to, you know, you have a lot lower chance of what you want coming up, even if you just push through all the rolls. So we really are basing this strategy, and it's even possible for us to try to get these order, or even reasonable for us to try to get this order, just because of the smaller pool of options we have here on the carpentry table. Are they? The one in the little in the building by the stables there? I think that's the only one in there. So did you have to go? It's not the PO2, it is the Owl's Head merchant you had to go to? Is it critical? Okay. I misremembered that then. I think it was Vicar Alder. I remember looking for it. I guess they probably checked the merchant crossroad. No, who was? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you found it. Alrighty. Okay, another thing that is important here is I'm taking the durability masterwork, and that gave me 30 more durability. It also means to get the spell damage and spell crit, I will have to roll instead of 2 rolls, where the second of which is a 92%. I'll have to roll 3 rolls, third of which is a 54%. And if I fail, I lose 25 durability. So that's something I need to do to get this absolute high end wand. It makes more sense, but it's something to consider if you're just making, especially if you're working an expensive wand like a Vex, which is an artifact where you only have one. You really do have to consider if that's something you want to do. A lot of times it doesn't make sense to do that. A lot of times you might find yourself thinking, just take the first and second masterwork that I'm likely to get the spell damage, the spell crit, and then just be done with the masterwork table, and not even have to roll against that 54% or 50% or 52% or whatever it is for someone at GM or above crafting with a pair of rings on. But that really is just one more of the things where you end up having to be a lot riskier and push through a lot more blanks and take a lot more rolls on a lot more items to get that little extra edge that we need to add up, a little extra edge here, there, and a couple other places, and have those add up to make these really, really high-end things. Again, it's possible we get at the end of this and we're actually a bit disappointed by what we have. Oh man, Irish. I did that one time. It was for I think it was for a bronze hilt. It was a blacksmithing recipe, and I went around and around and around, trying to find the recipe on a player vendor, because that one's a player vendor recipe. It drops out of supply bundles, and it turns out at some random point I had apparently pulled it out of a supply bundle and learned it. And that was fairly early on when I was playing. I mean, I was hardly even starting to use the materials on crafting, nicer materials like that on crafting. But I must have learned that recipe, fairly early. I must have gotten lucky and pulled it out of a bundle, because that's a pretty good one. That's one that, if you're a crafter, you want. Yeah. That is a bummer. To do all that running around and then find out you have it. And not only that, now you also have an extra copy. I guess you could give it to somebody else who doesn't have it, save them a trip later. But, here in gold. Well, yeah. This one got what? Okay, this got the regular damage. Well, it's the running around for it. I mean, hopefully you saw it was on the POT guy. You went to Owl's Head. You waited around Owl's Head, I'm sure. But I don't know. It always bugs me when I spend a bunch of time on something like that. I get frustrated. Oh, yikes, yeah. Well, at least you got to, I'm sure, go by and see the stable with all its lovely sights and smells. Spell damage. Alright, so far, still pretty happy with how these are rolling through. Of course, we're still very early, and this is the part where you really actually do expect stuff to go pretty much in your favor. Just because, the odds of something going wrong are so small still. And they're going to step up big time here. Then we'll start seeing all the fun of all the disaster. Now this one, because the name of this one, spell damage, is a little bit closer to other options, and it also has this minus durability, so it looks just a lot more similar to the other options. You notice I've been rolling through this slower than durability. Durability is easy to pick out very quickly because the name's not similar to anything, and it actually has the green underneath it. So, it's underlined in green instead of being underlined in red like everything else. By the durability modifier line that's in there. So just try to make fewer mistakes. Like I rolled past, you saw me roll past one earlier. So to try to make fewer mistakes like that, I do slow down a little bit on this step. I mean, we're still pounding through these pretty quickly here. I mean, we're also down a lot of ingots. It is a lot of silver into this stuff. Again, it would be unfair to look at the end of this and say, oh, that took, whatever, like 800,000 gold worth of materials to make that wand or whatever. You spent 800,000 gold on that wand because I've got, something verging on a lifetime supply of rock maple blanks. Some of them which are already going to be half worked with exactly what you want for the vast majority of wands that you ever make. So this time and these materials really are going to go into a lot of stuff, which is, again, part of the strategy that the way I've kind of set up the way I craft. A lot of the strategy I've put into it is making the most of even not even necessarily failures, just making the most of all the materials. And even when you are pushing for something that's very specific, trying to have multiple outs where if it doesn't go your way, you still know what it's going to end up as that's viable or useful to somebody, or that you could sell for some gold or whatever. Where that's really going to come in is over on the master or over on the enchanting side, and that is somewhere a place where I will be sacrificing a bit of potential quality to be a little bit safer. And that is, I will be taking, if a major int comes up as the first thing, that's the primary non-gem stat. So if you push that later, it'd be nice because you get extra int on it. But if it comes up first, I will be taking. It's not reasonable to pass that up hoping it comes up later. That just makes the likelihood of you getting something that's almost as good much less in pursuit of something that would be slightly better, but they would also end up making you spend a ton more resources before you're likely to get it. I thought there might even be 4, but there is at least 3. I think they all drop from crates, if I remember the release notes correctly, but I don't have a super high confidence in that. Spell. Every now and then I will I'll be on a train of thought. I'll come back and say, "Oh, spell damage. Yeah, spell damage. Let's take that." As if I haven't already done 50 exactly the same way, and I don't know exactly what I'm after. It'd be fun out there. If anyone actually, well, yeah. Sure, why not? Well, I don't know what I could send. I guess I could just give you like 100 quotas or something. But I'm curious if anyone in their head has worked out what plus number this wand will end at, assuming it gets either 0, 1, or 2 fails on it. You can actually, just by looking at the stuff, you can work out what the plus number on it will be that I'm going for. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be real interesting. I did jump into that Twitter thread or whatever. I added a response to that, which is something I'm genuinely curious about. Because I think once someone cracks a strategy for that and people know it, I think it probably would be pretty common. We're not done yet. We got some left, don't we? Yeah. Oh, nice. The governor himself has joined us. Zieglerchek's actually the governor of Arlia, which is this town here. He's done a fantastic job with it. If you guys haven't been to, hey, if you guys haven't been to Arlia, stop in and take a look around because it's really awesome. And there's actually still some open land too, some open lots for people to take if they want them. They should all be literally open. They're not reserved or anything. You can just move on in. We're primarily a lot of the people in town are in the guild. But we also have people in the town that are in the guild and some new players that've moved in. So we try to, again with the shops area, it's set up to try to be very friendly to new players, and we have a community chest where I throw stuff in, and other guild members throw stuff in and stuff. So it's a good town if you're starting out as well. No bacon, no mojo. I'm sorry. Eve, could you maybe hold off on that penalty for a while? Because I think I'm going to need all the mojo I can get today. I think a bit of mojo would save us a lot of anguish, especially once we get to the enchanting side on this stuff. But how are you doing today? Lack of bacon aside. We're getting down. We're getting low. And we've gotten a couple, 8 of them that aren't exactly perfectly what we want now on this pass. Again, that's something I'm still very happy with. I'm very pleased with how this is going so far. I hope I'm still pleased after we roll our coin flips, after we do our 54% chances. We'll see how that goes. We're also down to enough wands here. Where if we do, run into some bad luck there, it could be nasty. And we will go back and we'll start looking at all these that are, 0.1% on a different stat than I would prefer. That's still a useful stat. Ones that are very, very close to being perfect. But I will set those aside in the meantime. And I don't recall, I think it's only twice that we've rolled all the way through and not been able to take either of them. So 4 times we rolled all the way through and had to take damage, or take crit instead of regular damage. And then twice we failed, which fair enough. And then twice we rolled all the way through and we didn't get either of them, so we actually took, both times we were able to get the max focus, which on a rock maple wand I don't necessarily know kind of where that would best be applied, or what else to do to finish up that wand to be the best. But it's not like it's a bad stat. I mean, if nothing else, we try to push it to a 4 masterwork. Because that's the thing. It's not just that stat's on there where you can use it. That stat is on there, and it makes it impossible to get the damage and the crit damage because there's also the masterwork. It makes it impossible to get the damage and crit damage without going to a 4th masterwork. The shrines, no. Nothing's going to affect that. There is a blacksmithing buff if you need to get +5 blacksmithing on the table or on a shrine buff to be able to learn the recipe. That would help. But the truth is, if you could do it anyway, I would say do it without that blessing. And if you fail, you'll still get XP from a fail. And you'll actually end up getting more XP because you'll get to use the same materials to make another one. Because the extra 5 isn't going to make a significant enough difference to your chance to get an exceptional. Yeah, Zeke is standing on the table, I think. I think Zeke is here standing on the table as we are crafting away. I just saw his arm wave. Dangling down. I'll give him an Ola. We're getting down now. We're getting down now. Alright, still really pleased with how these have gone so far. Let's see how long this holds out. Ooh. That one we can't get anything we want. Oof. I guess minor focus takes the least durability off it? Nah, it doesn't matter. Do reagent use, and then it has high durability and minus reagent use. You can end up adding a little bit of stat to that, and actually that's a good new player wand. High durability, so they don't have to worry about repair kits. Reagent cost at that point, you know, the little bit of gold that it saves actually is nice. So maybe that's what that one will end up being. Okay, last one out of our inventory. Let's try for the oh, there's the critical. Where's the regular damage? Yay, spell damage. Alrighty. So, very nice. Since there's so few in here, I will just move these over here. These will all go over here. So we're down to 81 that are perfectly on track. And we started with 350, but we immediately got rid of about 250 of those that we set aside because they weren't exceptional. So we're down to 80, and now we are also down to the rough time. 54%. We are going for spell critical damage. That's the only thing we want. That's what we need. So ones that don't get critical damage will be dropped in here if they get another stat, which isn't terribly likely. And if they fail, which is a lot more likely, they'll get dropped in this bag down. And if they succeed, they'll stay up here and be our bestest wand friends. Alright, spell crit. So 4.4 now. So it did end up being enough that we rounded up. So we went up by 0.01 on the displayed spell damage, and we went up by 0.1 on the displayed spell damage, and we went up by 0.2 on the displayed spell critical damage. So if we had done this the other way, it'd be 4.1% spell critical damage, or 4.2% spell critical damage, and then 4.4% spell damage. So that's how minor that difference is of the order. But since we're still early on the masterwork side, we can afford to be a little bit picky about it. And we're also already getting ourselves up now to, to decent wands. We still have 160 durability on them, and they've got good work on them. So if these don't get majors on the enchant in the first two enchants, they'll again be set aside, but they'll be, they'll still have potential to be very top end of wands. I'm not very, very top end, but better than, most wands. Ones that if you just went with 5 blanks and tried to make a wand, you'd be very happy to have ended up with. So. Alrighty. And we are probably over halfway done with the process by now. Terribly sorry. Dog's getting a little excited about something. I might mute my mic here if she carries on too much, but... Ooh, a loss. And these fails, incidentally, they're still at 145 durability. Remember, we started at 150 durability. So we added 30 and we took 25 away because of the fail. And we still have a 50-50 chance roughly of rolling again. So again, these can be very nice wands still. I don't want that +7 there. You see, when we get to the enchanting table, we have a lot smaller sample of these guys. You know, a lot smaller group that we have to work on. Ooh, we got a lot of revises there, and we still didn't get what we were after. That's a shame. Ready? More spell critical damage, not bad. Now, the unfortunate part about this is, I've not respec yet. I'm still in my polearms build, so when we get done with this, I'm gonna have this really nice. Ooh, look at this good, hopefully awesome death wand. I'm just gonna have to put it in a bag. It's a lot of mats. It's a lot of mats. But again, it's all gonna go into most of it. Very few of these, especially since we started with only the exceptionals, very few of these aren't gonna end up being used by some mage somewhere at some point, I would guess. Because these ones, one fail. This one down here, it has good work on it. They still have a lot of potential to be, very good wands, very high-end wands. I will say though, also, Dr. L, it's a lot of fun. I really do. I really love doing this. I realize it's not everyone's idea of fun. There's people that just absolutely do not want to do any crafting. They don't care for it. They don't like it at all. And that's fine. There's a lot of aspects of this game, and most people don't like, all of them, certainly. Well, don't forget a lot of them dual wield. It's not that many wands. It's not a crazy amount of wands. It's not a completely insane amount of wands. It's not haul you off to the war level of crazy wands. It's maybe you should have an evaluation levels of crazy wands. I am also curious too if someone has at this, I don't know if anyone would even want to bother to, but you can work out the plus number I'm going for. I'm curious if anyone's bothered to do that yet. And of course, it will depend on how many fails we have by the end of it on it. But you could get it within, you could say a number plus or minus 1, and it would have to fall within that. Yes, Death herself has one, I believe now. At least one. The recipes are dropping now from Lord British's castle. Someone listed one in trade for sale. I don't know if that's the one Death bought or what, but Death herself said in trade channel that if anyone has the parts for any of the shrines now, she's willing to make them for free for them. And actually, the Death shrine that I have, I sent the stuff over to her along with a little thank you gift. Just because it's a very nice thing for her to do. And my Death Shrine actually was one made by her because I still haven't gotten the recipe for it. But for anyone that didn't see that in trade chat, that's something she's been doing for a couple days now, is crafting any of the shrines she was able to for people, which is just really awesome. And I believe she has them, now I assume it would be all of them, out in Salem, in her town, for people to use, for public use. So that's really cool as well. Hey Buzz, how you doing? There are 9. There's 1 for each of the elemental schools, and then 4 for each of the magic schools, and then 1 for chaos, which I guess is a magic school, but Last I heard, she had all of them except fire, and now it seems she has the fire one from what she said. I'll read you the guys the exact quote: "Making all in capital letters all shrine for free if you supply mats." So yeah, she's got them all now. All right, that one got a crit, right? Yeah, it takes up to 16.9% spell critical damage. Very nice. Hey, Lavarth, I'm doing all right. We are going for a really all-out wand here. Lots and lots of mats in it. 4,000 wood, 300 beetles about, and we are just going all out trying to make the best wand we can. The best death wand we can. And we'll get a lot of really good wands along the way that'll be going if anyone needs a wand, or if anyone wants to try something kind of weird, but they haven't bothered crafting a wand just to put on some weird masterwork or enchant that they don't want to, throw on good materials if it doesn't work out. Let me know, because there's a prime time to do that kind of stuff. Let me get you set up with different wands for different situations. If you want a pair of purpose-built wands to fight one specific mob, again, that's one of the nice offshoots of doing this kind of crafting. You end up with a lot of extra mats that have potential to do a whole lot of things, even when they didn't work out exactly as you wanted for that one goal. Yeah, I could definitely hook you up with blanks for masterwork practice. These are ones you're going to want to use for once it's a little bit higher, because these blanks are expensive to make. So even the non-exceptional ones, you want to wait until you have enough stat that there's a potential, if it comes out well, that you'll be using it, or that someone will be using it. Because the rock maple blanks and the carapacean strap on them, each one has a beetle carapace in it. So they're a little bit pricey for just straight practice. And you can see we're doing our 50-50 culling here, basically. So once we go over to the enchant table, it's gonna, it'll be a lot shorter process than this is right here. And then once we do a couple enchants, it'll get to be a really short process. Stuff is gonna, we're gonna think fondly back on the days we had piles of blanks to work with, because we're gonna start culling stuff at a very aggressive rate over on those tables. I mean, this is already, again, we're 50-50 on this, so. So critical. And I think it's only been one so far that we got the roll on, but the spell crit didn't come up. And again, I have a fair number of revisions, at least 3, sometimes 4 or 5. You'll see, but also just we've taken already the durability masterwork and the spell damage masterwork out of the equation. So really, there's not a whole lot of options for it to pull from. So you do end up likely, it's pretty likely that you'll get the spell critical damage to come up. Hey, the wand making goes, and it goes faster and faster. We're doing pretty well so far, but this is also still the easy part of it. The slow part slightly tedious part for some, probably. Sorry about that. But definitely the easier part. That is a lot of wands. We started with 350 wand blanks, of which 101 were exceptional. So the other ones we immediately set aside. And so we're not going to end at more than 40, even if this all goes, that we carry over to the masterwork table, or to the enchanting table, excuse me, to the alchemy table. I'm having fun. I really do enjoy this. I mean, I enjoy all styles of crafting, but this style of crafting actually really is fun. It's something you don't get to do very often, so I do try to kind of relish it a little bit, and it's really fun being able to kind of share it, because even amongst people that craft, a lot of them aren't silly enough to do stuff like this. They're a little more practically minded, maybe a little more sensible than I am in some respects. So it's fun to be able to do it on there. I buy silver ore and refine it into ingots for myself. I'm a terrible gatherer, and I'm very happy to pay the people that gather materials, and I try to pay, at the market rate for it. I don't try to get it super cheap or anything like that. And in fact, I do sell some ingots. The ingots I sell, I literally take my buying price for silver and calculate how many ingots I can make based on my refining bonus, and that's what I charge. So actually, if you say it takes 4 silver to make an ingot, I actually sell an ingot for a decent amount less than I buy 4 ore for. And it's because I am just basically spreading my refining bonus for people that don't want to take it up, because I took it up decently high. And I want to take it a little bit higher here pretty soon, maybe in the next couple months. Yeah, super expensive. But I mean, I spend a ton of money on ore and ingot stuff. I mean, we've burned through over 400 grand, probably about 500 grand worth of ingots here already. But I would rather spend 2 hours adventuring for adventuring and earning gold to buy the amount of ore I could get in 1 hour of mining. I just, it's not something I could do. I do. Yeah. See, I mean, if you could do it, man, I mean, it gets you some gold. I mean, Kodos fall off those nodes, and it's a ton of crafting XP. Realize not only do I not mine and I have to spend the gold on mining, I also have to buy and use materials to boost my crafting XP up, because I'm not getting all that meticulous crafting XP. So it really, really would be so advantageous for me to mine. But I just can't do it. It's not. I don't find it fun. I don't have the discipline for it. So, all right, that is our coal there, and we are going to step over and do our enchants. Oh man, okay, this is gonna get interesting now. This is the part where being the fun part starts going into quotes. Because it could also be a little bit cruel, and we might get very devastated. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run over and grab more bags just to make sorting a little bit better. And I'm also obviously going to switch over to my gold ingots. I weigh a lot. Oh, that's because I have 200 pounds of wands on me still. And so, oh yeah, it's going to get thin. It's going to it's not even going to be a herd. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be time to thin the, wand. And then we'll have nothing, and then we will despair, and then we will cry. And then we'll realize we still have, hundreds of wands that you could actually turn into a very, very nice piece, even if it's not absolutely exactly perfect like I wanted. Yeah, there can only be one. Incidentally, that's something new. if there could be two, which is to say if it were sensible to use dual wands, I would probably actually use a staff instead, just for the reduced fizzle chance. The reason I'm making a wand is because the do Death Offhand, the Anapa's Favor, I'm assuming we'll eventually be able to take an enchant. And in which case I'll be running with that Death Offhand Orb and a single wand. And that's the only reason I'm not making a staff. And in fact, I have an okay staff. I probably wouldn't try to this super uber good weapon. I probably wouldn't try to do that if I didn't want to do the offhand orb. Just because my staff, I have a couple staffs that are good enough. I mean, honestly, it's probably hitting the silver mines. As long as you invest your XP back into the gathering, the mining, and you put your initial gold into getting gear for it to speed up the mining, like PMC rings and stuff like that, mining silver can be very lucrative. Otherwise, being a very high-level adventurer, if you go to the good farm spots, that's also lucrative. But again, you gotta put a ton of upfront work in to get the XP and stuff. Yeah, for sure. In PvP, with a death mage, if you get the first shot, you can usually pretty decently. But I would definitely be building up some shield skills as well. Especially if there's an archer that knows you're around and you don't have a shield, you're toast. Especially now that Sonata's going to be following the archers around. Oh man, it's going to be rough time in the fall. Or, I mean, any PvP zone. But if archers have their Sonata following them around, pretty much as soon as they see you, you might as well just, fork over your inventory. No, I shouldn't say that. For people that don't know, yeah, we can, sure. That's what it'll be. I started setting mine aside again. I gotta build my shield masterwork. We'll see how that goes. I might be in another stream sometime trying to get a decent one of those. But for people that don't PvP in Soda, the inventory thing was a joke. The way the first of all, most people the way PvP works is when you die, they get basically 2 random items from your inventory, and you have to pay like 4 times their NPC value, which is usually fairly low, usually a lot lower than what they're actually worth. And you have to pay that. You have 24 hours to pay that amount of money to get your item back. And if you don't pay it, they get your item. But the truth is, most people in PvP, most of the people that PvP in this game will forgive the ransom anyway. You just get your items back for free. So, you're not actually really at risk of losing anything except some gold in PvP. If you have a stack of potions, it will take the entire stack, and that can get expensive. If you have a big stack of something, and then it multiplies that NPC value, that could be kind of pricey, but generally it's very cheap PvP, even against players that keep the ransoms. I say very cheap. I mean, obviously, if you're just starting out, almost everything is expensive. A lot of people, especially if you're going in PvP, will get at least some bow skill up, I think. There's a ton of people that don't run bow builds, though, especially in PvE. Yeah, for sure. That's even, yeah, Gradios sees one. If you pay the ransom before they get a chance to forgive it, they'll actually mail it back to you. But yeah, generally, it's a very good-natured, very good-spirited PvP. For the folks that run around, and even the people that do keep ransoms, it's not out spite or anything. That's part of the PvP system. It's fully reasonable that they keep their ransoms, that they keep the ransoms they earn. But they're still they're having fun PvPing and they enjoy it. It's still still a very nice experience if you enjoy PvP. Okay, I'm going to now. I'm going to grab a little more gold than I have, I think, so I'm going to pull some off my guy. I need to restock this guy. Yeah, I'll take 1,000 from there, and then I have some in my bag as well. Actually, I might not have needed to. We're getting kind of cold. We're getting kind of down. Okay, so now the really fun part. I'm actually going to take a minute to go get another soda, and then we'll come back and we will see what happens. We're going for a really, really nice piece. We might not get it, but we'll get something good at least. And I'll be back in probably about a minute. Okay, I'm back. Well, that's a problem indeed. Levant, have you? Is it any time you try to leave town in general, or just right now you can't get out of town, and when you get back in, you're coming into town and trying to leave? Basically, you might. You can try starting from the overworld, and then see if that gets past the problem. Come off my be right back screen. Okay, I will switch my rings out and we will get going on this. So my strategy here is going to be to put, I want at least 4 pieces. I'm going for 5 pieces of work on this table. That's a tough order. It's a hard thing to get. I want at least 4, so I'm going to be doing 2 without the gem first, and that's going to help us in a couple of ways. 1, it means if we don't get the majors we want, this won't be gemmed as a death wand, and it'll still be a good wand, and I will be able to put a gem in it for any other mage, and at least put their attunement on it, or maybe even attunement and another skill, and it'd still be a 3/4 wand. At that point, it'd still be a very good, very high quality wand, even without major. You even just had regular int instead of major int, or something like that. So that's one advantage of doing it that way, and a way to kind of mitigate risk and still end up with a lot of good quality stuff at the end of this, because we put a lot of materials in. We want to get more than just one wand out of it. Another thing it's going to do is, just like we did on the table, the masterwork side, it's going to push back the most important stats, which are going to be our death attunement and our death ray power, which is going to increase the damage on death ray. So it's going to push those back in line and make those have higher stats as well. So that's the strategy here, is to get 2 out, hopefully major into major help, but of course you never really know what's going to happen here. And this will go from bags. I'm actually going to pull off the table, and one of these bags, or both of these bags actually, both of these bags have wands we're not going to be working right now. We'll set aside just so that I'm not having the confusion of them being in the inventory or pull stuff from them by mistake or anything of that nature. These good wands, they're right on track. We got 38 of them over here that we're going to start the enchanting on. Those I'm pulling right over into the inventory. And we'll get a couple other bags up here for sorting. Like we did before. Check again, my compulsive ring checking. I still have the right rings on. Ooh. I probably also need to get my remote bank out, just so I don't have to detach from the table again and close all my windows or lock them or something. I want to set this down within range. Is it really not close enough to open? What place there? There we go. It would have been easier just to close all the windows. Alright, I get some mandrake in my inventory here. We'll pull in a surplus of mandrake. That's what we'll call that. Alright. Well, there's already a bunch of crap on the table. It's the problem for Sago. I already have bags on the table and and there's some little bit of deco and stuff. It looks like it was starting to place up there at one. It crashed when I tried to load a new map from my start. Okay, is that after you tried to load to the old world, or are you trying that now still? Okay. It's going to pull his chest in, which actually at this point is kind of handy. Well, not yet, but it will become handy, because it's nice that it's not pulling a wand in, because then it's easier to make a mistake, at least for me. If you're pulling in the same type of item you're working on, you just absent-mindedly go, oh, the durability looks good, the plus number looks good, hit a roll, and you actually are rolling on something you don't want to roll on. Alright. So ideally here, I mean, we're not going to worry too much about the order on these things, other than getting our two, hopefully majors on here first, and pushing the other stuff back. So these we are going to pretty aggressively roll through. Ooh, that's not good. We'll probably split up what comes that we don't want. We'll probably kind of split what we put on it, so that as we work these further down the road for other builds, or other people, there's kind of a variety for us to choose from. So there's int. Normally, if we were just making a wand, we would have taken the int pretty close up there. In this case, we're going to push through, hoping to get our majors. All right, major int. So this is now top shelf, what we're after type stuff. And I'll take major int or major health, whichever rolls up first. Because I do like to have a lot of health in a death build. Couple major ints right off the bat. Well, not right off the bat, but pretty quick in there. Ooh, major dex isn't something we want. Major strength isn't something we want. I'll take a regular int. Yeah, that's really why we went and got that durability masterwork first. Even though it's something a lot of times I wouldn't even bother with, just because you're pushing, you're getting 30 durability from it. But if you want just spell crit and spell damage, you're pushing the latter of those two from a 92% chance in my case on the second enchant, or the second masterwork, to a 54% on the third. So it's not something I normally do. I even bother with that durability, but in this case, we really do need it if we're gonna try to get really lucky and get a very, very top end. Ooh, a lot of revisions there. We got a lot of chances to roll at a major on that one. Just put focus on. I probably should have put durability on it, but again, I just like to. These ones aren't going to be the wand we're after anyway at this point. So I'm happy to get kind of a variety on them because they'll all end up being good wands. Everything we've brought over here is going to end up being a good wand at some point or some sort or another. With maybe a couple of exceptions that will stack up some really nasty rolls. Oops. 4 plus 2. And as for, I was talking about the durability earlier because I went through and I mapped the durability through this process to see where we're going to be at and make sure I wasn't miscalculating anything. And in fact, I actually made a couple just maple cheap wands out of the cheapest materials, the pine ones actually, just so I could double check and get all the stats that I'm looking for here and double check to make sure I have the durability that they take out of the wand correct. Just to make it few. See, normally I would have taken that int there earlier, but since we're pushing really, really far for stuff, I am skipping all the way through the end looking at major. And I mean, that's a major dex on that. That could be a good air wand. A very nice air wand. It won't be an artifact one, but. So if by some absolute miracle we got all the way through this and made a 3/5 wand with no fails on it, major health, we would end up with 56 durability, I believe it was, 54 durability, and if we get one fail on it, we will end up at 29 durability. If you do it correctly, though the way we're doing it, we could technically get 2 fails and end up with a wand that had everything we wanted with 4 durability, and that would actually still be a usable wand. But obviously, you want more than 40. For a wand, it's not as bad. It is nice on a wand to have enough durability that you can go throw knockdown on stuff, but wands do tend to last quite a bit, and especially if you take your armor preservation up. This won't have weapon preservation on it. Excuse me. These won't have weapon preservation on them. It's not something we're trying to roll for. But if you have a good weapon preservation stat, the wands really can go a long way on very little durability. Not that I want to run a 4 durability wand. 29 I'd be happy with, though. I fairly regularly, especially like on an artifact wand, we'll work it down to 15 is a number you see a decent amount. Yeah, see, Bo's got one of the 15s I made. Sorry about that, Bo. I made up for it, though. I gave you a decent... You've got a decent Vex. Yeah, oh yeah, no, hammers you need high durability. Bows, you need a lot of durability on bows. Regular int. This for Saga, what we're crafting here is a more refined bludgeon instrument for Saga. Which is to say something that's hardly a bludgeon instrument at all. In some ways in name only. See, again, normally I would have taken that int earlier. Major strength, I guess, yeah. If you're maybe that one will be a wand for a earth mage. There is no good earth primary hand artifact. Jaya's Heart offhand, but yeah, maybe we'll make a wand for an earth mage with that one. In fact, B was talking about rolling a life earth mage, which you can use earth solo and then use life magic when she's in party to do some healing. So again, I try to I as I go through this, I try to think about, we didn't get what we want. How do we make the most out of what we have? Because again, to use all these materials, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't use all these materials just to make a single wand like this. I'm also getting basically a lifetime supply of rock maple wands and blanks of all qualities and stuff. So, someone said, I was talking about how much. I know nothing of this. Someone was talking. We were talking about how much this uses in the Discord, how many materials this uses. And they said, "Oh, I want to see that wand. I want to see what it looks like to hold, 3,500 wood," which actually turned out to be about 4,000. But 3,500 wood in the palm of your hand, and that was a really cool way to put it, and it sounded really cool. And I almost wanted to put that in the title. But as awesome as it is, and in spirit, how accurate it is also a bit misleading in that all that wood that I put into this, all these materials I put into this, are going to end up spread out amongst between a bunch of different wands and a bunch of different people and a bunch of different builds and stuff. So I won't actually be holding the end result of this, hundreds of beetles and thousands of wood. I'll be holding just hopefully the nicest fragment that we were able to chip off of that huge mass of starting material. Ooh, major int. It would be nice. Hopefully, one of these major healths get major int on it later, because it'd be nice to at least have the major int on there be over 10 instead of the 9.8. But don't take that to be complaining. I'm pretty happy. We got 5 that have majors on it already. A little over halfway through on the first passive enchants. For this, I should take the regular int. That's a smarter choice here. If I were crafting for general purpose resell stuff, I would have taken that major dex and made an air wand probably. Although again, air wands have cheap and plentiful artifacts that are very strong, so you don't get much call for crafted air wands. Alright, and major strength is no help to us. Major focus, no. Regular intelligence. There we go, nice major intelligence. That's a lot of majors there. Got 4 panes of stat of options, and 3 of them had a major in it. Not bad. And one of these actually has, if everything goes perfect from here on out on one of these wands, it'll actually end up being better than if something goes perfect here on out from these wands. Just because that would end up giving us a later major. It's less likely that our best wand will come from this batch, or it's less likely one of these wands will be turned into a super high quality wand, but for any individual wand. But actually, they do have potential to be even better than the ones we're getting the majors on from the start. Major health makes us very happy as a death mage. 50 health on a wand is, pretty good little boost there. Not over any other +5 crafting station. The founder stations, the benefactor stations, give +5 to your base skill. So that is a difference and a help over the regular ones you buy off the merchant, off the deco merchant. But between them, there's no difference. Between the +5 stations, there's no difference, even though they have a couple names. I guess we'll put regular health and try to drag this up here. That's gonna trip us up later. You know, I'm gonna drag. Yeah, it's gonna trip us up because these are all int. Oh well, it won't. It will be fine on it actually. Put it there. Wouldn't mind out of this last group getting a couple more majors going into this next round. And this next round will be second enchant. It'll be 92% chance to succeed, and we will be looking for ideally the major we didn't get up here. So if we got major health, we'll be looking for major int, and vice versa. Otherwise, we will take either health or int, prioritizing int above health. But we'll see how it rolls out. We'll also see how far we press those, because we don't necessarily want to go to the last pane. And the ones we have a major on end up having to take a stat we don't actually care about. So we'll be a little more gentle with our rerolls on these ones that already have a major on them. See, like there we only got 3 rerolls. It'll put us in a little bit of trouble. Oh no, health. I should have put health on that and brought it over here. That was a mistake. I think I've probably done that a couple of times because I'm looking out a little more for int. Ideally, if we get the 5, it'll be a major int, a regular int, and a major health. And then the other 2 will be the death-specific enchants that we're about to see in a little bit. But again, that is, that's best case scenario. It's not something we're expecting going in. It's just something that we're hoping for. Putting focus on too many of those as well, but we'll have plenty of those wands. We'll have plenty of other. Anytime anyone needs a rock maple wand, I'm gonna have something probably that's half worked for them, but I'll also have enough blanks to make whatever they want. Unless they are wanting a very specific, very high-end one, if for some reason it doesn't have, some of the work that I put on the earlier ones. Well, oh no, we'll take regular health over major strength just to give us one more at of the type we want. Big help there. Alright, last one for this pass. Major int, nice way to end it up. Okay, well, so not bad. 10 with a major on it. Out of that, that's a third of them that we started with. I think I got a little less than a third, closer to a quarter, but that's I'm pretty happy with that. These ones probably won't be getting. Oh, these ones won't be getting anything else today on them. I'm not gonna bother dropping that bag. I'm just gonna kind of move it over here. Well, might as well just close it. Close that out. I'm gonna pull up another small bag. And actually, probably 2. Alright. Now, we're stepping it up again, getting a little bit more interesting. We have... these are our prime candidates. These ones could end up being better. And we have twice as many shots, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to roll through now and look for... If there's major health on this, we're going to look for major int. If there's major int, we're going to look for health. We're not going to roll through quite as aggressively. Major dex we don't want. Oh, well, first of all, let's actually confirm. Every time we're going to pull this down and see that this one is major int. So I'm keeping in my head, I want major health. Or regular int. Is what I want here. Couldn't get major health, but we got regular int. So we're going to pull regular int on that. And put it here. Pull this one over. This one has major health, so we want major int on this. Very lucky there. So that one we're going to put actually back in here. And we'll know by the fact that it's a plus 16 instead of a plus 13. that clearly we've done our work on that already for this pass. Major int, so we're looking for major health. I'll try not to say that aloud every time, but I am really going to go through in my head every time. Just to, because at this point I don't want to make a mistake on any of these wands, because we have quite a few of them, but this is also this is 10% just of what we started with after we set aside all the non-exceptionals. It's actually closer to like 3% of what we started with overall, so we're already down pretty far. All right. Ooh, and that's where failures do hurt. It's a 92% chance, so you're hoping to get through this, maybe even with all of them coming through, but that failure risk is of course still there. And incidentally, this has major int on it, has spell damage, spell critical, and only one fail so far. So again, and 107 durability. So again, it's going to be very difficult for that not to end up being a good wand, a very good wand for someone. So I just really want to stress that, because we put a lot of mats in, but it really isn't that all those mats are just for one wand. They're going to get spread around quite a bit. All right, and this one does have, so we want major int on this. We will push harder for the major int than we are for the major health. Kind of want to take that int, but we can roll again and hope we get, see, didn't work out. So we'll take durability on this one and set it aside as well. See, that's what I was saying. I was going to be a little more conservative, and clearly in that instance I should have been. It would have worked out better for me. Yep. And the benefactor as well is also a +5. Alright. Oh, and this one, we'll see if it pops up either way. But this one is a major int. So I'm not going to push as far for the major health. I really want to see an int at least. Okay. Regular health. Yeah. Alright, and that one goes now down here. This one is another major int, so looking for major health and not pushing super hard for it. Alright, we're going to take the next int we see, which we're not even going to get to see. A bit rough. Alright, doing this one. This has a major int. At this point, I'm tempted to just take this int and give us more of these +15, 112 durability provisional wands that we're doing right here. We also still have all this stack, and most of these have int on them, or a bit of health. So push one more, and we'll get the regular health on it. This one's major health, so we really are looking for a major int. We're going to push harder for it. Nice little reward there for us. And our last one on this first half of the first pass. Major int right off the bat. Very nice. And then there were 4. Alright, these are our best chances at something absolutely amazing. We still have a bunch down here, and we still have 3 over here. There are chances of something amazing. Just not absolutely amazing. Now I'm actually going to snag this block so I don't have to close all these bags. And, well, I have to move my bank. Go back in my inventory. I'm going to pull out the gems, and we are going to start socketing. That's why I couldn't click that earlier, because the cursor was hitting the alchemy table. Okay. So I'm going to take all my necromancy gems. I'm just going to drop those into my inventory. Oh, no. I tried to open my inventory and I closed it. I closed all my bags. Oh, what a fool I am. Oh, well. All my clever pulling the chest over for nothing. Alright. Small bags. Easy enough to figure out just by the numbers that are in them. kind of which ones we're after. Those are our really good ones. We got those, and then we got our 20 over here. Okay, so now I'm going to start socketing. And what I'll do, you saw me search for a gem up here. I just pull out everything that's not a gem that I want in this item. I don't always do that, but if I'm doing high-end gear especially, or I'm doing a lot of socketing, it's a lot easier, it's a lot faster, and there's no chance at making a mistake and putting the wrong gem in it. Another thing you might also want to do is literally, I mean, if you want to go extreme, you literally just search ward and make sure you don't have any warding gems in your inventory when you want a proper gem, or vice versa. Make sure you don't have just a sorcery gem when you actually want fire warding because you're some sort of water mage or something. And we're socketing one-handed. This is again going to pull something random. I actually like that at this point. So I could be very specific about what I'm pulling over and socketing. And right now we're going to socket these 4 and these 3. And then we'll come back to these later more likely than not. Because this isn't, we probably will need these in our pursuit of this nice wand. Let's look at this. This step, 98% success chance and 27% critical. Neither of those numbers particularly matter. If you fail, you'll lose your 10 Mandrake. Oh, no, you won't. Mandrake's not even... Oh, yeah. Okay, Mandrake's good. You'll lose your 10 Mandrake, and that's it. The exceptional gives you nothing extra. If you get it, just a little extra bonus XP. But this is a no-risk little reprieve here that we have in all this before stuff gets really interesting. Because our next roll, remember, is a 54% chance, and it's still not even... We're still not close to the end in terms of the real excitement and terror of this process, the part where stuff's going to start hurting. But I don't know, it's a fun ride. I really enjoy the Statue Craft. And again, I don't get to do it very often, obviously, because it's very resource intensive. It's just not practical to be doing a lot of it, and there's really no need to do a lot of it. Again, I'm pushing for something here. I could have made 20 blanks, and it would be almost certain I would end up with a wand that was 90% or closer to what we're going to end up after 300 blanks, 350 in fact. So it's a ton of extra resources just for that tiny little return, but it's fun to shoot for it every now and then. And this is kind of second or third piece I've made like this, depending on where you want to put the cutoff. I actually made a two-handed sword for somebody. That's a little bit easier, in fact, because you can only get to a 3 masterwork 2 enchant or something similar two-handed sword. Or it was actually a 4 masterwork 3 enchant. Because you get a two-handed sword, it's 150 durability. You get an exceptional 200 durability. You put on heavyweight durability masterwork, it's 260 durability. You do 3 more masterworks and 3 enchants to make a 4 masterwork 3 enchant weapon with 0 fails, and it's at 30. It's down to 35 durability on a melee weapon, on a two-handed sword. So that is low durability, and it's literally the most you can have on something worked that hard, unless you put on like a weapon preservation stat as one of your enchants. But this was just going for pure. It has major strength, major dex, I think is what that was, and then durability masterwork and 3 power masterworks, thrust, rend, and double slash power. So obviously, if you didn't get majors on the enchants, you would also have more durability. But as far as making really top end rarefied gear, that's about as far as you go on a sword. And it was a lot of fun to do. I mean, it was stressful, nerve-wracking. A lot of fun to do, though. Took my entire collection of every elven hilt I had ever gathered. All right, we have those prime candidates socketed, and we are back now to our enchantings at our rough rolls, and we are again compulsively checking our rings to make sure we don't mess something up. All right, at this point we are going for death ray damage and attunement. The attunement we definitely want on earlier because it will not take durability. So it'll actually, if we went all the way to the end and we had 1 fail and we were at 29 durability, you can't roll again. You have to have at least 30 or you have to have more than 30. You have to have at least 31 durability to roll again. so we can't push our attunement to our last shot, or we would have to get a 5-3 with 0 fails, which is incredibly unlikely. So we will be taking our attunement. I'm actually even not that picky about the order on these, especially these ones with the dual majors, because I want my best shot at least getting a 3-4 out of here with everything I want on it in dual majors. So we are going to worry a little bit less about the order this time and be a little more conservative. But again, we're starting out here at 54% chance, so we'll see. What happens. We managed to hit it, and we got our death ray power right there, so we're just going to take it. They're going to put that back over and as a prime candidate, down to 74 durability, 30 durability for that gem-specific enchant. They all take more durability out. It'll actually take 55 durability out of a two-handed, which is nice that it's not 60. For like a staff. Okay, that one hurts. We're still going to set this aside just so that I know it by its grouping. And they're starting to lose our numbers, though. That one hurts as well. Alright, last chance at these really, really... so far everything's perfect. Wands. Ooh. 3 out of 4 of those getting that fail does hurt a little bit. We can't afford a fail on them, so what we will do actually is try to roll all 3 of those again right now for the 54. And if we have a second fail on them, we actually can afford that as well. But take our death ray power there. But you see how much that 25, it's 25, but for a fail on these, but 74 versus 49, that 49 makes you pretty pessimistic you're going to hit what you're after. Oh, bummer. Okay, that one's pretty much out of the running. There's 54% here. Death ray power. Okay. So that one still is running. So we have 2 that are still in the running, and 1 that still so far is perfect. I don't expect it to stay that way as much as I would love it to. I'm now going to come down here and work these ones. These are our guys that have just 1 major on them so far, as opposed to these ones which are just 1 single piece of work, non-major intelligencer or health. Pull that over. Right. These I'm just gonna run. Oh, ooh. Dropped it in my bag by mistake. Well, I'll pull it off and we'll see. And 54% again. Another fail. Pulling this one up. Alright, our last first pass on these 1 major, 1 regular. I could take the death attunement first. And I would actually kind of prefer that. I prefer the death rate percentage to be bigger. That's going to give me a bigger impact. Actually, I will take the attunement first. It's going to make the durability a little more confusing, though, because attunement doesn't take durability off of the wand. Here, I'll pause 1 second, take a sip of this drink. Alright, so things are getting interesting. This one's out of the running. This one actually isn't doing too bad either. Let's go ahead and let's take our coin flips on these 1 major, 1 fail group. We'll kind of think of them as. Major strength, isn't that just what we want? I'll take our death ray power there. That is one thing. As you have fewer options, you know, once you start putting more work on, you start seeing more and more of the majors, and at least for me, I kind of get in my head. I go, oh, yo, major strength now. Well, you look at all these majors. Ah, man, I wish I wanted major strength. I wish I wanted major dex, and all the major focus, all the stuff that's coming up all of a sudden. But it's just naturally going to have a better chance of coming up once you start taking everything else out of the pool, out of the rolling. Okay, so that one is not going to be the one we want. It's not quite in the same class as these. For one thing, it's gemmed, but we'll be able to keep track of it in that bag because of that gem. All right, so now we're going now for our fourth roll. So all these have 3 pieces of work on them. So we're down to our 17% roll, and for all of them, we are trying at the 17% point to get the attunement, or if it has the attunement. In the case of that, the one specific wand here, we're going to try for the death ray damage. If we get through all of these and we burn all our 4th rolls to the point we can't do any more work on them without getting that second death thing, all these will be trash, and we'll have to go to these and in a position that we don't necessarily want to be. We want to be able to go to these in a position where we're just hoping for a long shot to get something better than we have up here. Because we want at least a 3-4. Go ahead and start with this one because it's higher durability. Maybe it makes us a little bit more optimistic. Didn't mean to dump it in my bag, though. Okay. Now, that I do want to pull into my bag. So now, 17% chance. And on this one, because this one is the one with the attunement, we are looking for that death ray damage. And we'll be able to compare the extra bonus we get from pushing it back if we get it. 17. Ooh, okay, now they can tolerate up to 2 fails, and still technically get a 5th on there. But we really want to be seeing a success here. Okay, so at this point, this one's not going to be the perfect thing we're looking for. We will roll it again because it's not a decent. All the other work doesn't matter if we don't have the death ray damage on it. It'll still be incredibly low durability. It'll actually be 7 durability because it's missing a major. But we might as well try it. And then if it doesn't have it, it's going into table or a chest. So 12 for a fail, and it would have been 7 if it made it. So that one didn't work out, and we're just going to keep pressing on. We have our other one down here that is missing a major. It has a failure. But that's all right. We're going to pull it up here and try to get the attunement on it now, which won't take durability if we land. So we did land it, and we are very likely to get attunement at that point. Okay, so we have here now 57 durability, a plus 21. This is a very high quality wand. It's got the major and it's got the regular health. It's a 3-4 with 1 fail. So if this is the best wand we end up with, I have a very good wand that I'd be very happy to use as a death mage. So that is, in this kind of crafting, that becomes a relief. You see that and you go, all right, cool. If everything else fails miserably, it wasn't all for absolutely nothing. I still walk away here with a wand I can use, and I wouldn't even bother if that's the best wand. I wouldn't even ever bother trying to make a better one until that one either completely broke or, well, I'd major at 20. I'd major repair it pretty much forever, unless we really drive it into the ground. All right, let's try these ones. These ones have potential to be better. This one has the 2 fails on it already, but it still has the 2 majors. Oh no, this one doesn't. This is the one we set aside. This one would have to have an incredible stroke of luck. Well, just so we could completely discard it, we will sink some ingots into it. Normally I would not. I would wait and do the ingots later, but we will try to do the attunement first. I would usually not even spend ingots on it at this point, but I don't want to have to hold on to it as in case we do come back to it. I don't want to have to hold off and then come back to it and try to keep track of it. So basically, I'm expecting to fail, and I'm gonna put it out of my inventory. So yeah, okay, there it goes. Again, I mean, well, it's missing the other death thing. It's missing the ray damage, so it's not good. If you're really just only doing corpse explode, I guess it worked for you. Alright, so these are ones that have the 2 majors, they have the 1 fail. And they both ended up with ray damage on them as opposed to attunement. So, attunement is what we're looking for now. No luck. No luck. Okay. And now we are at what was our first past absolute best one. 2 majors. It's got the death ray power on it already. Still needs its attunement. But it doesn't have any fails. So this is the one that we really, really want to see at least pull attunement. So that is unfortunate as well. Okay, so now we're back to this one. We have this one still as our best. We're going to run through all these now. And they only have 1 piece of work on them, so we're looking for any major. Major health or major int. And actually, where do I want to put these? Because I want to subdivide these again. So I'm actually just going to put these right into my regular inventory. Okay. So, rip bags is starting to take a different meaning. Versago. Now this is our rip bag. This is our bag of ones that we just said absolute, said rip on. Actually, this one I could have worked again too. I might come back and do that. I'll probably set that one aside prematurely. Okay, so we're looking for any major, intermajor health on these. And major health, very nice. And we're back to just spinning through a little more and pressing a little more aggressively through these ones. They have to take regular health, and that one now has just regular int and regular health. So again, could still technically end up being even better than. Well, it doesn't have 2 majors, but it could still end up being very good if we rolled a major on a 5th. There's a nice major. Another major. So this is at least going to hopefully refill our sails a little bit, a little wind in our sails, and doesn't even really matter. That one's not even what I want. Okay, because obviously, I mean those rolls there, the 17% rolls, you don't go in necessarily expecting a whole lot. Even the coin flips, I was hoping for a little bit better. You hope to get lucky on them. So that was, a little bit deflating in that sense. What's it matter at this point? That was a little bit deflating in that sense, but getting a couple more with these majors on it is nice. And we'll be able to go back in there. And so the way I do this, you've maybe noticed that it starts getting a little bit. I'm not just running through doing the exact same thing every time. I'm actually starting to treat these as individual pieces. And I'm starting to take some things all the way to the end, or at least close to the end, and then I'm going back and working other ones and stuff because we don't want to go too far on a piece and ruin it completely when it actually could have ended up being like this one. We're not going to roll this one again until we know what else we have that we're looking at, so we have an idea of how risky, how far we want to push it, how risky we want to. But we're getting very, very close to the end now. Ooh, that one just met its end. And again, that one technically could still come back any better than this one, I think. Yeah, technically good. But I've discarded it for now because that's very unlikely. We might have to, if we really want to, we might end up picking through this and pulling a couple more of these out, like this one, and seeing how far we get on them. We're getting another nice little bank here, built up of our of ones that at least still have one major on them, and mostly major int we've been getting on it, which is nice, as opposed to the major health, which is slightly less desirable. As much as I love health as a death mage. Major strength, not what we want. Twice in a row, major strength. Oh, what are you doing, major strength? Alright, we're getting down there now. Hey, Major Ant, thank you. Very much appreciated randomness. Major focus is no help to us. Ooh. I would have liked to be a little luckier on this last pain here when we get here. No, you have a little less pain. But no, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more. Technically, you can actually still work that one pretty well too, for our purposes. I'm into that last window, and I'm not even getting a fallback. You know, I wish this bag were a little heavier, is what basically. Ooh, oh, spoiled for choice. We definitely want to take the int though over the health there. I'm actually surprised there's more in this bag than this bag. Maybe that's to be expected, but I think that is just we're running opposed to the odds a little bit here because we've done so few of them. Major int. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue with all those major ints we're getting off these. They're not our super nice double majors, but not too shabby. And we'll at least get a chance to put health on that one. All right, sweet. Yeah. So that worked out pretty well. All right, we're definitely going to need to be socketing these now. And we're going to pull them right from the bag and right back into the bag. And again, because I pulled... Oh, well, see. No trouble there. Because I pulled all the gems out, you know, I can really just whip through this and know it's going to put a necromancy gem there. That is something, if I were not doing a stream right now, and I hadn't, you know, literally said before, oh yeah, you know, check, look, you can be ridiculous, I'll put in ward gems, make sure there's no other gems in your bags. If I didn't actually do that and I was sitting here in private, I probably, before I resocketed these, would check again just compulsively to make sure there was no, you know, I wasn't about to make a mistake. Make sure there was only necromancy gems in my bag, so I don't actually put in, you know, fire warding, some silly mistake like that. And so you notice, you know, starting from all those blanks, processing them all, working them all so far, we're really only using here, I mean, we might end up using, what, 20 gems or something like that? So only 20 of these, and again, a lot of these that we set aside they're still really nice, good wands, as far as the work they have on them. And they're not committed to being a death wand. They could still be socketed with whatever and used with whatever. it's going to be a little bit harder to get everything you might want under that gem on them because they were pushed so hard before being gen. Now they already have so much work on them. You're putting yourself in a position where you are shooting for a 4 in chance on those at least for most ones, but you still have the potential to at least give it a shot, and if you don't get it, you'll still end up with a decent wand, even if it's not, end level top end player gear. That said, there's a lot of end level top really amazing players out there that do a ton of damage. They know a ton about the game. They play their builds incredibly well, and they don't have particularly high level gear. They've just been running around the same stuff for since before crafting changes let you make gear that's super powerful, and they do plenty fine in it. So all this is just really little extra little bits of it. It's a lot of money for a very little stat, and I'm doing a lot of this for the fun of it. Also, I'm sorry, I just realized since I have my chat blocked, this little window down here, this is kind of the trash bin, sort of recycling bin is probably more accurate. But I just noticed it's actually blocked by that little chat blocker thing, so sorry about that, but I don't think you've been missing anything there. Alright, let's go ahead and now start enchanting these up. So these are all in the same position. They have one major and one non-major piece of work on them, and we want to get our attunement on it ideally first, but if Death Ray comes up, we're just going to grab that Death Ray when it comes up. A little less risky. In fact, overall, it might be less risky to push through 2 attunement until we can roll attunement, just because it is so much easier to get. It usually pops up, and then it gives us more leeway later, but maybe we might try that. Ooh, okay, so this one I want to put... Actually, this one I can still put back here. It'll be easy enough to keep track of, just by their numbers. So we're either going up 3, if we take the attunement or the Death Ray power. Either of those will boost us. Ooh. Oh, ouch. Thank goodness. That got frightening. Either of those will boost us up 3 and make us have a 19. Our 16s are on work. Our 15 is a fail. So, I've said it before. When you're crafting a bunch of stuff like this and you're going very procedurally, or even when you're not being very procedural about it, just because the numbers are either a +1 or a +2 or a +3, and the durability damage is like a -20, -28, -25, or whatever. Different things for different gear. You get used to these numbers always lining up, and you kind of know what pieces are which based just on their plus number and their durability. I do wonder if we should be pushing through these though, and going for attunement first. We'll start rolling at least once for attunement first. Attunement on that one. Oh, well, we didn't do bad there, did we? Oh, we got one more. Very pleased with that, though. Of course, can we get the attunement? We get the attunement. Of course, now is the point where our luck may very well change. It may change very rapidly, because this is the rough stuff here. Pop this guy back on, and we're going to do our 17% chances on this. Actually, before we do those, let's burn through these +15s. We need to get the work here. We're pretty much done. Are we though? Yeah, again, normally I just don't want to have to keep track of these as separate things. I'm just going to burn them all the way through. So there's an attunement on it. Oh, attunement. There we go. Good attunement on that. Okay. Well, let's stick with those ones. Again, see if we can kind of burn them out of the possibilities, just so we don't have to worry about them anymore. Go back to this nice uniform thing, keep it a little easier to keep track of in our mind. But no, since we got the attunement first on that instead of the death ray power, if we get the death ray power, it'll only be 7 durability, but we at least get a chance to roll on it. If we got the death ray power first, it'd already be 7 durability and kind of worthless, and you wouldn't be able to roll to get the attunement. The attunement doesn't take durability, but probably better. I mean, yeah, okay, 12 for a fail. All right, so throw that one down there. It might have been better just to leave that at a little higher durability and give it to somebody that's kind of new, but I don't know. Yeah, it has too much stat and too little stat, I think, to be useful for a lot of people. Because when you're really beginning, you don't need that much stat on a weapon, and in fact, it kind of makes things a little too easy. But and takes the fun out of the game, I think, for a lot of people. Certainly for me. But also, anyone that wants that kind of power also probably wants the correct chance on what's death ray power on it. So now we are rolling through on death ray for this. We were lucky enough to get our roll on it. So now we're at 57. It's a plus 21. It has our death ray power and our death attunement on it. It has a major intelligence and a regular intelligence. So that's pretty sweet. We look at the other one we got, and it has a major intelligence and a regular health. So now I actually like this one better, and this is the one that came out of our bag of it wasn't our best chance, our best honest shot at the best thing, and now it's actually a better wand. And you know, the 16.7 intelligence is missing the health, but better wand, lower attunement slightly, but it has the higher death rate damage, which I prefer. In fact, actually, death rate damage is much better. So now we're going to be rolling for a 5th on at least one of these wands, which is really cool, because that's, you know, what we wanted for our real goal, our real, you know, hoping to get it thing was get a 3/5 wand, and so now we're at least going to roll for that because we have 2 here that are in very good shape, very nice wands. So we're willing to kind of sacrifice one, and who knows? We'll see how these ones go here. We might end up with more like that. And in fact, as many as we have here, you kind of really hope so. All right, we already have 2 fails on this one, though. Ooh. And this, to a certain extent, now is burning silver, because this is no longer a candy in the running. It's just trying to get it to be finished, so that when I'm done with this, I could put it somewhere, you know, give it to somebody or put it in a chest or what have you. And you notice the reason I'm pulling it off the table every time, I actually don't have to. It'll just drop it into my inventory, and since I have it sorted by rock maple, I can actually drop it into my inventory and bring it over. But you know, little stuff like that doesn't matter. That's the kind of thing. Just as you craft, you'll kind of naturally fall into a rhythm of how you do stuff. And you might change it up depending on what you're doing or whatever, but you know, that's all that sort of stuff is kind of irrelevant. There's no strategy or anything to that. It's all the personal preference aspect of it. I almost thought I put that chest piece on for a second. Yeah, I make spears. In fact, this is for research. I currently am a spears build. So I make the spears I use. Neither of these are great spears, but you know, they're good enough, and they work for what I'm doing. I actually really love spears. When I respec, I've been calling it a mage vacation, because I took one before I respec'd as a mage between going from blades to polearms. And this will probably be the same thing. I'll probably do Death Sun Mage for a little while and then go back to a melee build, because I really enjoy playing melee build. Yeah, here in Arlia, it's just east of Nightshade Pass. I have a weapons vendor that's a bit understocked. I don't even know if there's any spears left on it. And a number of other shops. That's where I sell most of the stuff that I make or that I sell. But I also really like doing kind of custom orders and made to order stuff for people, especially newer players, and kind of talking to them about how they run their build, what they like fun, what skills they use most, and kind of make something that's going to fit really well for them. No, it's near where the Lost Vale spawns, if you know where that is. It's just east of Nightshade Pass, which is where Hilt Fortress is. If you look up, it's not. If you go to sodamap.com, or well, let me get the exact URL, and I'll paste it in chat for you. It's not on there, but if you look up Nightshade Pass, it's right to the east of that. And this site's a little outdated. It doesn't have some of the new towns on it. It doesn't even have Mistrender on it. But oh, Lavarsari posted for me. I just got that Control Seed, and he's already got the Control V done. Thanks, man. I appreciate you posting that there. Oh, hey, man. Yeah, dude, for sure. I'm glad that's working. I was just we made a staff the other day. Fujuke there, and we were. I was telling him the same thing. I really prefer to work to a specific a person's build and what they want. Well, all right. I mean, I don't actually know the overworld map very well, but can't you? You're pretty quick too, Buzz. Can't you run across Novia in about 40 seconds? I mean. Anyway, all right. Let's burn this one out too. This one's not good either. All right, put that down there. Alrighty, got that. And of course, these ones all have the attunement on them. So we're just rolling through looking for that death ray power. Right there. And again, you could, if you're really being risky, push that further and try to put that death ray power on after another, as the 5th masterworker enchant, and be even more powerful. But I mean, you really are pushing hard into the slots game at that point. That's some serious gambling. And if we had like 5 down here already or 6 down here, I might try to do that gamble on. But we don't. So I'm gonna be a little more conservative. Oh, I'm like 10 seconds. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm bad at the overworld map. I know, roughly where the stuff, it got those big mountains in the middle and stuff like that. But I'm not great at the overworld map. I teleport to the. I zone everywhere. I zone scroll everywhere. All right, we're getting down to it now. Actually, I kind of blew by this one incidentally. This one is a plus 22 now because it doesn't have that fail on it. So this one now is a 3/4 with no fails. That's an incredibly nice wand there already, and we're gonna definitely roll it again. I mean, 3/4 no fails. It has everything you want. It has major int and regular int. The major int came after the regular int, so it's 10.1 instead of 9.8. That right there is, again, an amazing, beautiful wand. That I'm happy with that one, and it definitely means we're going to be pushing these ones. Oh boy, we're getting down to the really, really fun stuff here in a minute. Alright, so death ray power on that one. And we've done it again here with no fails. This one is int and major int as well. There we go. Alright, I'm very pleased with that so far. And a third one, int, major int. Oh man, to end up with 3 of those, wow. Okay, well, so... let's see what happens now. Oh man, we're getting into it. I shouldn't have got a soda. I should have grabbed should have grabbed a shot glass at this point. This is gonna get into the We'll see what happens. We'll hope for the best, but yeah, this is where it gets rough. Because it's not to the point where these didn't kind of work out. Now, if we push stuff hard, we are throwing away. I mean, this is an amazing wand right here. This wand would sell for, I don't know what. It would be a fair price for it. I'd have to think about it and work it out. But I mean, it's a 4/3 with 1 fail. It has intelligence, major intelligence, the attunement, and the death ray power in the order you would want it. People might not necessarily want the crit damage in the order, or even a rock maple base. But if you're happy to be a critty death mage, and once these new spell crit stuff starts coming in, that might even be far and away the way to go. This is a beautiful wand. It has 57 durability, which for a wand is a lot of durability. So if we push this really hard, if we take a fail here, it's 32. That means we could take another pass at it. But if we fail that other pass, it's 7 durability that we'll have left. And at that point, it's worth a ton less. So this really is the point at which, we're not just not getting stuff, we're going to start losing stuff by taking these rolls. All in the hopes of having it really, really pay off and get something that's just an amazing piece. So it hurts a little bit, but again, it's something I so rarely get to do. It's a lot of fun, and in for a penny, in for a pound. We've put a lot of resources into this to try to even get the chance to take a roll like this. 9% chance, and even with these durability, we're not going to get a lot of them. We're not going to get a lot of rolls. So it's very possible we won't get a single 5th enchant here. So there it is at 7 now. It's plus 19, so it's looking a lot less super special happy than it was. Still a very nice wand, but I mean the 7 durability is a shame. This one I almost want to. Well, I guess I could save these. These ones are also better wands to begin with. 32. Down to 7. Alright, we got our 57. So, Russ, this is a 9% chance. This is only, we're not getting that many rolls for, it's a 1 in 11 chance of pulling it up here. Oh, we're not even going to take, we're going to take like 13 rolls on it if we pushed everything that far, but I'm not going to push the last one down to 7. That'd be silly. Well, maybe it wouldn't be. I mean, heck, again, these are all good wands, and even, if people don't want them at 7, I could run them at 7 for a long time. And I wouldn't even have to do major repairs, because once they get down to maybe like 2/2 durability, I could just swap it out for another one. But all right, do another 9%. Ooh. All right. All right. Well, now that makes me a fairly happy person. We have Major Int and Regular Int on it. Our ideal thing is Major Health. Here's the thing. We don't have that many more rolls. Regular Health is also super helpful to us. I think I'm going to push this once. And if I see any more health, I'm going to take it. Oh, to go to the end of this and not get health, though. For Sago, though, it might all be for nothing. I might throw it all away if I press this revise button. But I don't think I came this far to be conservative here. We were a little conservative earlier in some of these rolls, and it paid off. I think now's the time to push it. Buzz, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, people. Oh, all right. Man, yeah, soda was the wrong choice. I should have had an alcoholic beverage, not this pop. Oh, you see, people, you see what you've made me do? Okay, so now here we are. This is our last piece. Well, actually, potentially it's not our last. Oh yeah, it is. You can't do another. This will be the 5th, so we won't be able to enchant it any further. So we could take 7.4 Dex and get a little bit dodgy, or we could take some Strength. That'll give us a little carry capacity, which is nice as a mage, and that will actually translate to some health. So I think I'm going to do that because I'm a little less concerned with taking damage as a Death Mage, because the damage can help you as long as it doesn't get out of hand. So I'm going to take this, and this will at least be some health for us. And there we have it as a 37 durability piece. But I can't go back and try again. I mean, if I could, I very well might. But put it on there, and it says enchantment maximum reached. Can't go for a 6. Gotta stop at a 5. But that now actually. I think I've actually made a plus 23 wand before. I made a plus 23, I think, for Ava. It was a fire wand, but it wasn't an artifact wand, so it's kind of one of those bittersweet things. It was a super nice wand, but the artifacts are just better, so we got real lucky on those rolls. Anyway, okay, so but we saw this one. Let's see what happens here. Oh, 9% chance. Okay, oh, guys, do we take the health or do we press it? Gee, I wonder what chat will say. Let's get a poll going, because this is going to be a divisive issue. Take the health now or see me throw it all away on a gamble. The saga. Yeah, no, I know. We're doing it. Oh. Ooh, we're taking this health. I'm sorry, guys. We're taking this health. I'm not going to revise again on the chance of the major. Ooh, maybe I should have 62 durability. Oh, look at that baby, though. Okay. So, we have our Rock Maple Wand, Carapace and Claw Strap. It started off as an exceptional, plus 50. We got our Health Enchantment on it. Give us 36 health. We got an Intelligence Enchantment. We got our Major Intelligence for an additional 10.1. We got our Death Attunement. We got our Death Ray Power at 26.9%, which for my levels is very high, a very high percentage, because my I'm only level 130. Got the Masterwork Durable on it, and the spell damage, spell critical damage, and the spell damage on it for the Necromancy Socket, plus 24, 62 durability. Yeah, it's almost what are you gonna do with that much durability, man? Good gosh, a lot of durability for a wand. Not a single fail on it, so it's a 3/5 no fail wand. Yeah, well, I'm pleased with that. I'm plenty pleased with that. Wow. And we can't work anything else. Yeah, that was like the last one too. I got plus 24. Man, oh man. That's not bad, huh? Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I wonder, yeah. Oh, ooh. Alright, cool. Well, I hope that was at least a little bit, if that was, half as exciting for all of you guys put together as it was for me. I think at least some of you had a good time. What do you do? I mean, hey, you want to go over back to the crafting table and see if we could put a 4th on it? I'd go back over to the Masterworks, the carpentry table, see if we could add some max focus, add some spell reagent consumption reduction. No, we're gonna stop down there. Honestly, I mean, depending on how well it's lasting, there might get to a point where, because it is such high durability, I might, just for the hell of it someday, try to put a 4th Masterwork on it, but I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, Rosago, that's a danger. Hey, thanks, Joe. Yeah, that I'm very pleased with that one. It's only got 1 major on it. It doesn't have the major health, but I'm not complaining. It's 20 health short of being as perfect as I wanted this to go. Within reason. You could technically get more, like half a point of intelligence more if you change the order, and it'd still be the kind of thing I craft. In fact, and that's what one of these could be. Oh no, these can't because I don't have any. So yeah. Anyway, this is pretty much as good as it was ever going to turn out. I'm absolutely amazed at this. And to get there with no durabilities is a real nice bonus. Get rid of it for me? Hey, Irish, if you want to go do some death maging, I have, you know, 1 or 2 or 350 other rock maple wands. 349, I guess, other rock maple wands. Some of which are actually already amazing death wands. I mean, this is the one that we did. This is the okay. This is the incredible thing here. Ah, I did it again. No. All right, let's get the small bags out again. Which one was it? First of all, they're very low durability. These are still very good wands. They have int, major int, death attune, death wave power, and then the crit and the damage. So they're low durability, but those will really pack a wall up. And in fact, until we can, if I respec before we can enchant offhands, these will probably become my offhand wands. And then this one, because this one I probably won't want to take the durability out of. Because if we compare these side by side, I mean, the one we just got is amazing. We also got one that has 37 durability, which for a wand isn't bad. It still has the 16.7 int, it still has the 27.4 death attunement, it still has the 26.9 death ray damage, it still has the 4.2 spell damage, and the 4.4 spell crit added to the rock maple crit to give a total of 16.9 crit. And then, the fizzle chance and the reagent use that's typical with them. And the only difference is instead of 36.8 health, it's 7.4 strength. So let's see what that actually translates to in reality. I'm sitting at 1302 health with this wand on. If I take this wand off and lose that strength, I also lose 24 health. So this wand has 24 health on it. This one has 36.8. So this wand only has like an additional 12 health, and it doesn't help your carry capacity. So it does have more durability. But as far as just pure stat-wise, the difference between these wands is a dozen health. And again, the one missing that health helps your carry capacity. So we actually ended up with 2 really, really fantastic wands here. No, it was. I thank you, Irish. I do agree it's pretty. I think I might want to hold on to it a little bit longer than I have so far. These few minutes we've had it. But yeah. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I really was hoping, maybe expecting more than I should have. That I'd get at least one good one. I did. I fully acknowledged that there's a chance we wouldn't get anything awesome. But this is a better result than I dared hope for. I mean, heck, getting the 3-5 with no fails would be a better result than I had hoped for. But to also get that plus 23, it's effectively the same wand, with less durability. Really, really fantastic. But what I said about having a lot of rock maple wands is true. If anyone needs a rock maple wand, if anyone out there right now wants a wand, wants one of the death ones that didn't turn out so well, I'm going to save those 7s to use as an offhand item, and I'm probably going to try to sell the plus 23, the one that has that strength on it. Well, how much does it help my carry capacity? So I could carry 1645, and if I take that off, so it gives me 45 pounds of carry capacity. I do have a potion on, the 1.5 potion. We'll see with my death mage. I might want that 45 pounds of carry capacity. Need a life wand? All right, man. Let's crank one out right here while I kind of, come down from that high. It's called a bank. What you want me to put them in the bank real quick? Are you starting to making people nervous? There's a salvage bunch. I put them on the carpentry table and hover my mouse button, my mouse over the salvage? Oh dear Lord, no. I don't. I mean, no. I'm not willing to do that as a joke. Oh, my weight issue. Yeah, well, I mean, apparently the only bank I visit is a food bank with this weight. No, I carry a ton of stuff. A lot of this is ingots, but I do walk around about 2,000 pounds. And I buff up to like 2,800 is my max carry capacity when I have Berserker stance on. It is a bit of a problem. A lot of that is this build. I need to carry a couple 100 pounds of potions with me if I'm going to go out for a day of PvE. So that's some of it. I can cut weight for my death mage. If I cut weight in this build, I'm down to about 1,000 pounds. When I go death mage, I'm going to be way lighter. Won't have all the potions. I carry a bunch of regs just because I can, so I'll carry like 2,000 of each reg. So if someone in the field needs regs, I can just hand them a nice stack of it and still have plenty, and I don't ever have to restock my my regs bag hardly ever. I carry a ton of poison potions, way more than I need to. So again, I can hand like 30 festering death to people just because that's an advantage of this build. But yeah, I'll obviously have to change that up for a death mage because I won't be able to carry this much. So I still have some cheap Rings of Fire, by the way. I've been posting some of my artifacts a little bit cheaper just to kind of clear them out and be able to afford silly stuff like like making hundreds and hundreds of wands. But I don't know. I thought that was a blast. I hope that was fun to watch. It maybe wasn't quite as informative as some beginning crafters or even some folks looking for crafting information would have hoped. Because it's not like that's a practical thing you're gonna go put into practice every day. These wands are going to think, by the way, but it was a ton of fun for me. I'm very happy with that. Do it again. Oh, Irish. I'll do something else like this again, I'm sure. I don't know what it'll be for. Ooh, let's do this with Dolus hoods. That'd be fun. Sorry, that was perhaps not a good joke. No, we'll find something to do it with. I mean, if someone wants to donate, 600 million gold, so I could pay people to farm Doluses nonstop for the hoods. We could try it with Dolus hoods. We'll find something else to do, something like this eventually. Maybe when I respec back to melee in a couple months, which will probably happen. Maybe we'll do it with a nice piece of melee gear or something like that. I'll do 500 mil. All right. So on Paper Saga, although the amount of Dolus hoods we need, I don't think. I mean, unless you're going to get some sort of near light speed time dilation device and farm catalysts for 80 hours a day. I don't think you're going to be able to do it as a one-man team. I think you're going to have to hire underlings. All right, Lavareth. So here, I'm gonna make a life wand for Lavareth here, and what we're gonna do is to actually take a look at the again life wands. You normally wouldn't necessarily use rock maple because you would oftentimes take something like hard maple that has base spell damage, which in this case is gonna turn to healing power instead of crit power. But because we have so many wands that are already very nicely worked, we're actually going to end up with a probably a pretty nice piece for him anyway. So let's look at these ones up here. Like this 136, this has a major int on it. Why was this one set aside? Hold the phone. These both have majors. These ones should have been worked all the way for our purposes. Laney Soda, thank you for following. I haven't done affiliate. I don't know if I'm going to do affiliate. It'd be nice to have channel points and stuff. I'm not concerned about like getting money and stuff. A number of people have asked about that, and like it is awesome. I don't it's really cool that people are enjoying the streams enough that they want to do that. And I might still get affiliate, but there's no expectation at all. I have so much fun doing this that the idea that people would want to give me something for doing it is so outside of what I expect, you know, because it really it's pure enjoyment. I've been having a blast so far. It feels weird to get anything for it. I'm concerned about getting. Oh, Serial, dude, how you doing, man? We just made a heck of a wand. If you missed it. Yeah, dude. Major strength. You don't want major strength. That's not good at all. How did those end up in there? Man, we could do this. If those came out, we could do this whole ride again. Here's one. Okay, this one right here. I'm gonna start with this one. Because this has a major int on it already. So we'll put that right into there. And we'll get a rock maple. And I don't even have to worry now about accidentally putting more work on our good ones because they can't take anymore. They have 5 enchants. Oh yeah, we could do some crossbows too. Oh yeah, dude, the Doom Mage. Yeah, send a friend invite. Happy to accept it. That goes for anyone. And also like send me whispers in game. Sometimes I'll start a crafting batch and I'll go, you know, like away for 2 hours and go work on stuff. So I might not respond very promptly to your whispers. But as long as we're not timing out and stuff now, I should be able to see them when I get back, and I'll get back to you guys. But no, if anyone ever wants to add me as a friend or message me, ask questions, just say hey or whatever, always super happy to have that happen. And also, when I know these streams have kind of like, especially the crafting, have kind of turned into like a part of it is me trying to teach what I know. And normally the reason I know it is because someone else taught me, and that's part of the reason I love to pass it on, because I feel like I'm kind of paying forward what other people did for me. But at the same time, I know there's a ton of experienced people out there that know a lot of stuff that I don't in the stream. So anytime you want to pipe in and say, come in and say, maybe if you try this a different way, or I do it this other way for this reason, or just even if it's just a different style thing, and your way isn't necessarily better, it's just different. I love hearing that stuff too. Said you can. There's Josiah Thundertoe. I don't want to hang out with a guy called Thundertoe. I would reject this request. All right. Sorry, we're dragging our feet a little bit here, Lavarth. We are working on a nice wand for you. And what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna socket this one right off because we're not gonna, be. Oops. I still got these moved over here. We're not going to be pushing it to the crazy, stupid far, Instano extent that we did the other stuff. So we're going to sock it now so that we can hopefully get the two that we need and be out. Let's go ahead and take. We don't want a diamond. We actually want a nice thaumaturgy gem, and we will just take. I mean, we shouldn't have to even take 4 passes at this to make a very good wand because we're already on these blanks. Like I was saying. We're halfway to amazing wands on these blanks already, or great wands on these blanks anyway. So most of the work has already been done on it. And again, I'm just going to take out the other gems so that there's no mistakes in socketing stuff. He's looking to heal. Last thing he needs is a death gem in it. Alrighty. Rock maple, and we'll be able to see by the percentages, but that's still, not compulsive ring checking. 107. So this again, it's already got the major int. It's got the crit damage and spell damage. A little bit odd to make a super critty healing wand, but Oh, I was gonna socket it and then I didn't. Well, now it has major int and regular int. Let's go ahead and socket it up, see what happens now. You know what? Maybe I should save this for one that is going to not to when we put the life gem on, there's two things we want, so we would have to push this to a 3-4 to get the good life wand, and it already has one fail on it, so that's very unlikely. So I think I want to set this aside to be socketed for something that doesn't need 2 pieces of work from the gem. So off the top of my head, I'm not even sure what that would be, but I think I'm going to pull that one back out actually and put it in a bag, and we're going to go forward with a different one. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I could look at your bow too, Irish. Okay. This one has int and focus. Oh, it doesn't have a fail on it. This one has health. Okay, we'll start with this one. And we will actually socket it this time, like we're supposed to. And now we will enchant it. And incidentally, if there's anyone else out there that wants wands, especially something with rock maple, let me know. And it's not just rock maple; they have the beetle strap on them too. They're carapace straps. So again, these blanks, each of these blanks is, oh lord, I didn't do the math on it, and I'm not sure I want to. 1,600 plus. I don't know. These blanks cost like maybe like $2,000 or 2,200 gold each to make. So you know they're nice blanks. All right, we want our life attunement. No complaints there. And then 54, we might fail here, and actually we might end up with reload durability. No, we don't. And then we want the 4.4% life effectiveness. This is the other one so for the gem we took the attunement and the life effectiveness. We want to make sure we have both of those on our healing wand. So it's a plus 18, has 85 durability. Lavaris, how comfortable are you having to put a bunch of repair kits on stuff, knowing that wands last quite a while? Do you want us to try to roll for a 4th? Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I'll tune in if I'm here and able, because yeah, I haven't seen you on Soda in a little bit. Oh, yeah. We have 85 durability, so we could roll for a 4th, and if we don't make it, you'd still have good durability. Or do you specifically like having very high durability gear? Is it really annoying to you to have to put repair kits on stuff? Or should we try for that 17% chance at another stat? Go for it. All right, cool. And for personal use, I would keep a wand at 85. I pretty much always push it, but I know some people do like that with high durability. All right, so at 60, do you want to hold it at 60? It'll be 25 if we fail again, or minus 25 if we fail again. So it'd be down to 35 durability, and that's starting to get it to where more people would be upset by it. Alrighty. Well, the thing is, you might be the luckiest man in the world right now. But it's a bit of a jog to get over here and press the buttons. The problem, I might just wreck this for you right now, dude. Hopefully not. Let's. Okay. Well, 35 is still good durability. On a wand, it's gonna last a while. So yeah, critty again, not necessarily what people look for in life wands, but better than no wand at all, that's for sure. I am gonna pop this in the mail for you so that I don't lose track of it. Wow, nice ones. Oh, nice. Streamer. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay. I'm sorry. This is why I shouldn't necessarily be checking mail on stream, but Lavar, I'm gonna pop this over to you. Man. Oh, I'm blanking. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's Anderson backwards. Okay. Alrighty. Alright. Alright. So that's off to you. I am going to have to. Oh, thanks, Arik. I see you there. You're gonna say that on Twitch. So I'll read it out. Uh, I appreciate it, man. I assume you're listening on Twitch if you're watching the whole thing. I assume you're still around in Twitch. Okay, let's see. We just got a nice Wanza song. All right. You play from the inventory, can't you? I just have a fleet flute. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I already mailed it to you. You came over here. You came around the mailbox. You beat the postman, so it's all right. All right, here, let me change my settings real quick. Yeah. No, that's not music. I want instruments up. Oh, they're all the way down. I don't know if this was. Yeah, I'm gonna stop that and then restart it. I don't know if this was composed for Fleet Flute, but it's what I have. So. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Not moving very fast with all my crafting weight, but. All right. Thanks. If anyone else needs a wand of some sort, I could put a little more work on some of these blanks so we could do something. Arik, are you here wanting a Arik? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Are you wanting a wand? I'm sorry. You might have already said. I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit out of it. And just because I started getting very focused and intensely into the procedure of that. And now I'm just kind of excited. So I know since a couple people popped in, Zeke, if you're still around too, I tried to make a wand for the death respec that I'm going to be doing, and we ended up with two that are actually a 3 masterwork 5 enchant wand. One of them has no failures on it. They both have major intelligence and regular intelligence. One has health, which would have been nice as a major health, but I'm not complaining. But health is very good, important for a death mage. But even the one we didn't get the health on, we were able to get 7.4 strength, and we actually figured out that's only going to be a difference of about 12 health. So one of them is absolutely amazing. The other one that comes second place to it is only basically down by 12 health and some durability. And durability on a wand, 37 durability on a wand is still pretty good. So, we actually ended up with two great pieces. And all these ones that are actually also good pieces, just not super amazing ones. The durability is the only problem. If we would have stopped and not pushed for the 5th masterwork on these, they would also be very, very awesome wands. They'd be 4/3s with int and regular int. I think one might have major health. I don't know, major int and regular health. Yeah, I was talking earlier about how I rarely do this because we started off with 350 wand blanks, and out of that we got 101 exceptionals that we started working. And I was talking about how much fun that is to be able to do. And it's a lot of maths, but I was saying I've only done it 2 or 3 times now, and one of them that definitely counts was your. You saw it? Okay, yeah, for sure. One of those that definitely counts was your sword, especially because it has with the elven hilts. Only about half of the blanks I was able to make even had Elven Pelts. I used every Elven Pelt I have ever gathered or salvaged or purchased to make those blanks, and it still wasn't enough. So that was another example of that really fun, really high-end crafting. Yeah, they're kind of rough, man. They're not adding that much stat. It's like 3 dexterity, which on a two-handed sword isn't even isn't even an amazing stat. It doesn't really make a difference, but it's so much fun having it there. Hold 17. I'm not sure you meant that. Hold 17, 15. Oh. No, yeah, no, I don't know what you mean by 17, 15 each hand now. I missed that. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm informed by Hasselhoff foot over here. This very kind gift was not at all intended or composed for Wand. I still quite like it. Oh, yeah. Okay, 17, 15 each hand. I got you, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I redid the math on it. It was about 4,000 wood that we put in. Elfin, you'll get there eventually, man. It's a hard word. It's got like 5 letters or something. Good lord, more letters than anyone needs. Says Coswald Dirthmeyer to Zeke. Maybe glass houses. Maybe I shouldn't throw stones. Oof. All right. Well, I'm gonna. That was the main crux of the stream. That was what I wanted to do. That's what this whole stream was. I'll hang around a little bit and unwind a little bit more, either in the form of making more wands. If anyone else out there wants a wand for anything. Otherwise, if you guys want to jump in party and we could go kill something or do whatever. It's a shame I'm not spec'd yet, so I respect yet, so I can't test that wand. I made those wands. Oops. I made those wands for me, and by I don't even have this tree GM'd. I have it worked out roughly to be the best for attunement, for resistance attunement to offset. Actually, I have 80 death warding, and I made myself death wands. Good lord. Anyway, after the respec, they'll be good. Tridents, dude. Tridents are an interesting one. Tridents are can be very good. They don't have much advantage over spears. But they have a slight advantage over bronze spears, like a bronze trident will, or a meaty or a iron trident. Will have a very slight advantage over meteoric iron spears. And this is Arak in chat said he's hoping to get his stats up to make some amazing tridents because he doesn't see many on vendors. By the time you're using a spear as opposed to a halberd, by the time you're using a single handed polearm, if you can get your virtues either very high or very low, you can actually use Sylvan spears, which are a lot better than any tridents or any other spears you can make. They actually use the horn of a unicorn, and their weapon stats are based on your virtue. A light unicorn horn will give you very good stats if you have very high virtue. A dark unicorn horn will give you very high stats if you have very low virtue. So the unicorn horn actually gives 7 weapon damage and 9.9% critical weapon chance, weapon critical chance per horn, and you could dual wield them. Incredibly powerful, and especially combined with like a savage handle or mossy handle. Shaner, I don't believe you. I don't think you respect. I saw you dancing on my table, not a care in the world, like a man who is confident in his blade powers. If you did respect, though, that'd be interesting. You go kill some unicorns, and you need very high virtues to have good stats on a light unicorn horn, and you go kill light unicorns to harvest their horns, and it lowers your virtue. It's one of those great ironies that exist in the game, very intentionally, in most cases, I think. But if you just go out, if you get a stag encounter that has unicorns in it, it's a 50-50 chance whether they spawn light or dark. So if you're harvesting for horns, just go and take all of the unicorns, and over time, it'll average out to not hurt your virtues or help them if you just take them all at random over time, because it's a 50-50. And then as you start getting closer to wanting to use them, and you need to build your stats virtue either very high or very low, you go either direction with it. Then start skipping encounters that have dark unicorns, or start skipping the encounters that have the color of unicorn horn you want to use. So if it has a light unicorn and you're trying to use light horns, skip that encounter and take out some dark unicorns, or clear some sieges or do other virtue raising activity to get the stats up and get them effective. Other way, if you want to use dark unicorn horns, after you've harvested a bunch, stop killing dark unicorns, kill only the light ones, or go steal from an NPC town, or do various things that lower your virtue. Lie to NPCs about your name, that sort of stuff that lowers your virtue. Yeah, you gain virtue for killing the dark ones, you lose it for killing the light ones. Heavy and Bard. Dude, Zeke, I would really, really love to at least know somebody. Heavy Bard spec does seem really fun and interesting. I'm very skeptical that you've done it, even though we've talked about it before. And I know it's a build you would probably have a lot of fun playing. We've talked about that before. But I'm skeptical you've actually done it, but it'd be really fun if you did. They don't take an intrinsic durability hit. So Arek is asking in the local chat. He said the durability hit he's seen on him is a bummer. They come out at 100 durability, like any polearm, or if it's an exceptional, 150. And then after that, the only thing that modifies the durability is if you add Masterworks to it, or fail Masterworks, or add enchants or fail enchants. And that's the only way to modify the durability. So the reason, if you've seen ones that are really low durability, probably the reason is they were listed, they were crafted to a point that has lower durability on them. And all super, like this one has a max of 50 durability. I'd actually push it further. Probably if I were sticking in polearms, eventually I'd push it further. But you don't have to work them that far. You could put 2 Masterworks, 2 enchants on them, and it has something that still has very high durability and it's still very functional. But I've put a lot of work on these. I've put a lot of, this has 4 Masterworks and only 1 enchant because one of the Masterworks failed, just to keep it at 50 durability. Because especially with chaotic, the build I'd run chews through durability. I'd be fine having lower durability than this, but I spend it too fast. And also, if you're just stopping in today was kind of a weird sort of crafting stream. It wasn't really practical crafting. It was kind of that fun extreme end of crafting. A lot of times when I'm crafting on stream, it's a lot more reasonable, sane stuff, and I do take more time to kind of talk about the basics of it and how it works and stuff. So if you're interested in making your own stuff and you think it's fun, it's a ton of fun. And if you're hanging out, there'll be better advice than go gather 4,000 wood and try to get 1 wand out of it. That's not good advice. Don't take that advice. But other ones have better advice. Yeah, there's one on in the past videos. There's one on bandit gear. It has a lot of pretty good basic info in it. Mondravis, yeah. Sorry again, guys. I'm answering questions from the local chat, but Mondravis, I have done light sylvan bowstrings. The stats aren't necessarily good as Elven, but they do exist and they are a thing. I'm gonna pop down. Arik, if you have any more questions or something, I'm gonna be right back up. You can also just send me a whisper, but I'm gonna pop out of zone because I'm gonna go down and pull up a light sylvan bow, so that I can show it to Mondravis here. Mm. Still need to sort all this stuff out. Here we go. Okay. I was grabbing pop back up. So I'm actually in Arlia. And I said it before, Arlia does still have open lots, by the way. For anyone that sees me run around in Arlia or has come over and taken a look, the lots aren't reserved at all. So if you want to move in, you're free to move in. There's a guild hall here. Underneath it, there's a really hardcore dungeon. It's got a lot. It's got like a level 6 troll room, 9 level 3 troll rooms, 2 level 6 lich rooms, or 3 level 6 lich rooms. It's either 2 level 6s and a level 5, or 3 level 6s and a level 4 full balled room. But it's an awesome place. It definitely needs super high level person or a party of pretty good people, pretty high level folks. But it's a lot of fun. It's open to everybody, even though it's under the guild hall. It's open to anyone that wants to run in and check it out. And a lot of the people that live in town are guild members, but again, open to anyone that wants to move in. All right, so let's look at those Sylvan bows real quick here. So these are both rock maple. I've worked both of these. You see the dark Sylvan bowstring for me? Minus 12 dex, minus 12 weapon crit chance. That's because I have very high virtues. This is what I was saying about them being virtue based. And this is minus 6 dex, minus 6% weapon critical chance per string. Longbows take 2 strings to make. So it says Dark Sylvan bowstring parentheses 2. That's because there's 2 of them on there adding to that stat. But if we go the good ones, it's the same thing in the opposite direction. Because this aligns with my virtue, I have plus 12 dex, plus 12% weapon critical chance. So that's what the Sylvan ones get you. That's actually what's going on here? So rock maple longbow stave, light Sylvan bowstring, dexterity, major strength, durable, weapon critical crit chance. Man, if you want to auto attack stuff or charge shot stuff, that's a good bow. I didn't realize I had a decent, nice bow like that. I should post that for sale. Folks will probably instruments. I'm gonna turn my instruments back down. I have no idea how loud that's going to on stream. Having it up that high makes I can't. It's blasting in my headphones. But I have my desktop audio mixed a bit lower. Anyway, all right. Well, so if no one else out there needs a special wand or anything, I mean, if y'all want to go, actually, I don't know. I'll probably go to jump off here pretty soon. But I'm still a little bit wound up from that because that was a lot of fun. I also, am a little bit too over caffeinated probably. But definitely check the mage gear vendor over here if you do need a wand. And I'm not in game and you want to pay for it for some reason, just instead of just having a free one. Because I'll maybe making some more wands and posting them on there for pretty darn cheap, just to get rid of some of this stuff. Actually, you know what I should also do? If there's anyone out there that wants to work the wands, I used all the plus ones that we got. But you can still take a wand, just like I started with these. You can take a wand, a rock maple wand that's not exceptional, take it over to the carpentry table and put the durability masterwork on it and take it to 130, and then put your spell damage and spell crit, or just put spell damage spell crit over there at your high percentage chances, and then go put like major int on it and 2 gem stats on it, like your attunement and your life effectiveness or whatever. And it's still a really good wand. So I'm going to post a bunch of these super cheap because I have so many of them. If anyone wants some, they're actually labeled those bags. They're actually I don't know, they cost like $2,000 to make. Rock maple is the strap takes 1 beetle roughly. You get a little more from a refining bonus. The actual rock maple heartwood takes 4 rock maple timbers. Every rock maple timber takes 4 maple timbers. And each maple timber takes 1.5 wood and 6 scraps. And also there's pine resin in each one of these too. In fact, there's pine resin in each rock maple timber, so there's 4 pine resins in each of these. So they're like $2,000 to make, and they're already not exceptional, but a ton of them. I'll post them up here super cheap for not so cheap someone just buys all of them that's not going to actually use them, but cheap enough that if you want to play with them, you can still get a really, really good wand. It'll save you a ton of cash if you're not worried about needing the exceptional +1 to push to some crazy 3/4 type masterwork enchant thing. But I'll try to keep some stocked up on here as well. And also, I'm going to try to keep my vendors a little better stocked in general, especially my gear vendors. So yeah, so sorry for folks that have come by looking for stuff, or like the food vendor, and I've been out of stock on it. A lot of time I spend where I would kind of normally do that stuff. I've been spending on stream, so I've been having a little more fun and slacking off on the vendors a little bit. All right, I'm gonna show them one more time before I hop off. I think. Just for anyone that happened to come in late, the reason that I did this whole stream and the reason I just spent 4,000 wood and 350 beetles and all that stuff to make all these wands is to get one. One's still in my hand. Well, I compare them both. To get these wands here that are the best of them is a 3 masterwork, 5 enchants with no fails, and it has pretty much everything I'd want on it, except technically a health instead of a major health. But it's really hard to get better than that without just adding silly stats for no reason. And so I'm very, very happy with that. And we also got a second one that's almost as good, just with a bit less durability. It has like 12 less health and a little bit less durability for one to last a long time. We also got these great ones that until we can work the new death offhand orbs, until we can add enchantments to those, if I respec before that, I will probably run this wand in primary hand and just offhand with these and chew through their 7 durability, Oh yeah, it's not that high. I mean, you could look at that and see my crafting skills. 6.6 is my first enchant. My actual crafting skills aren't that high. I just 130'd everything out right now, and I'm just going to save up XP. You see I dropped my pool is very small right now because before I made those, I salvaged a bunch of weapons and took my carpentry up the last bit I could. And recently I've been rounding off like agriculture and stuff. But all the masterwork and enchant and revise is just 130s across the board. I overtrained some of them a little bit. I still have a big hole in shield masterwork because I don't ever use a shield. I need to build up my pool so I could just burn ingots on some uncommon shields of attraction and then just combine them up. So that's ironically a great way to train. It's trap. That's actually a great way to train, ironically, is to get artifacts, which you think normally you'd want to be very careful about and very precious with, because they could get kind of expensive. But if you can get a bunch of uncommon artifacts that you're going to combine anyway, throw a bunch of masterworks and enchants on them. If you need to train those skills up, it's better than spending resources making new blanks, because you can just throw as much work on them as you want, and as long as they're ending with more than 1 durability or more, you just combine them, and they combine exactly the same as if they had no work on them. It's absolutely no different. So that's a good way to do that. And that's what I'll be doing with this shield. I'll take all my shields of attraction and then I'm fine. and work them, put a bunch of work on them. But I'm gonna wait till my pools are like something, so I don't burn a bunch of ingots. Drop, I spent a lot of ingots today. I gotta go get some more. By the way, I'm gonna put bio ores up right now. If anyone wants to buy silver ore, if anyone wants to sell silver ore, let me know, because I'm gonna be needing to buy a lot of silver ore. So why is this thing not coming up? Huh. I popped up the window for that name and it's not letting me ban them. I'm not sure why. Normally there's a little thing that has the option to ban them and I can't see it, so sorry about that, guys. A little bit of spam there. Azazel, was there anything specifically you were curious about or that you wanted to see about those? Thank you, Shane, for grabbing that. It wasn't coming up on the interface in Streamlabs like it normally does. Anyway, at some point I'm going to make some, probably some better plate armor for this death rebuild, because I have some death plate already. I'll probably make some better death plate for the rebuild. Just take my weakest few pieces and improve them at least. Well, there's no really. You could stop at GMing and still be able to roll majors. You'll have a lower chance and you'll have slightly lower stats. At 130, I consider it a kind of a good position. I do intend to take them higher once I get the XP for it. The diminishing returns start hurting quite a bit. You end up getting not much extra stat for a whole lot of XP. And that's kind of like we were talking about earlier today. So you might put in an extra, some might put in literally like there's crafters with 5 to 10 times as much crafting XP into the skills as me. And we might roll 2 pieces that are off by, like one has 2 more decks than the other one for all that extra XP, depending on how the stuff's rolling through and what the piece is. So you are putting in a ton of work for not a huge return. And in fact, you can hold off even before 130. You don't even need to get this far. For anyone that's starting out crafting, don't be discouraged by eat all that crafting XP. You really can start crafting a lower level and still make great gear. It's the diminishing returns that you have to be willing to push in just to get that little extra bit out, which is exactly what we did in making these wands here today. I could go back and finish working. We got 2 absolutely amazing wands. They're absolutely fantastic. I could go back and work the rest of the material we made, and I could make 100 wands that are like 85 to 95% as good as the ones we made, and just have dozens and dozens of them. Which also means I could have made just 1 or 2 with a small fraction of the material we used today to get that extra, 5, 10, 15% performance and quality out and make that super high end one. So it is really big diminishing returns. And that's why I say to people, a stream like this, it's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun. You end up with something that's really amazing, an amazing piece. But it takes a huge amount of resources, and it's not your typical crafting that people are doing. I've only done this a few times. Even very high-end crafters don't usually push for this type of stuff. One huge exception to that is a really fantastic crafter, Denarian Krenchesvon, who does absolutely fantastic work, and he really pushes stuff to the end, and he gets some amazing pieces. But this isn't typical crafting. If you're a newer crafter looking at this, don't think you need all these materials. Don't think you need to get thousands of wood and all these beetles and all this stuff to start crafting even really, really good pieces. You can do it at much lower levels. You could do it with much fewer resources and get something that really is very close in quality to what we made today. Today was a lot about pushing limits and having fun and just having the intensity of that 5th roll on there, that 9% chance, and having it pull off and all that fun. that's really what we were after today. Well, I mean, yes and no. That's kind of, in my opinion, that's kind of like saying it doesn't matter how high you take your crit damage because your likelihood of rolling a crit varies too much. I actually really like the revives, and in fact, I don't know if you've seen kind of, there's different strategies to crafting, and if you craft under certain strategies and use certain kind of like certain rules to govern the choices you make in crafting, the revive skill might be a lot less relevant. The way I craft, I take advantage. I try to take advantage of those revisions and go about them in hopefully a bit of a clever way, and I know when to trust them and when not to a little bit. Depending on what table you're on. So I think in the long run, for the vast majority of crafters, they're at least going to save you a lot of material. Just by giving you one extra shot at rolling something. I also do understand why some people are hesitant to put the XP in to take them above 100. I've actually never let those lag behind, but the actual specific masterworks, or even the higher masterwork once it was GM'd. So it's never been more important to me to get an extra 0.1 or 0.2 int or dex or whatever. That's never been nearly as important to me as actually just having maybe even a 5-10% extra chance of the next revision. I've actually always really liked the revisions because when you get it, it's a whole nother roll on a chance at an exceptional, at a chance at a major stat or at a stat that will save the piece. Maybe give you, int instead of strength on whatever piece you're making. So I really do like the in my style of crafting especially, I really do like the skill. I think it's incredibly valuable, and I've considered taking it to 140-ish or taking it higher before taking specific masterworks higher. And it probably will level before some stuff like shield, unless shield gets a lot more use, because the actual shield skills have got a ton of help, a ton of improvement, and they're a lot more viable. Good, there's a lot more reasons to use a shield. Shields are a lot nicer now to use. So hopefully, if they become more in vogue, I'll be making more shields, and then I will take shield up. But otherwise, I'll probably stop shield at 130 and probably leave it there for a long, long time. In my opinion, it is. I put a lot of stock in the mastery skills. I think they're very worthwhile. I think they're one of the most. If you're gonna craft a lot, I think they're one of the most worthwhile things you could do. I mean, shields are cool for Sago, but I mean, look at 2 spears. I know this is a bludgeon they pull up. Actually, you're probably happy to see a bludgeon there, even if it's one of these little namby-pamby bludgeons you don't approve of. But normally, there's a spear in that hand. But 2 weapons, twice the poking, none of the shield. So much fun. No, shield's way more viable. They've done a lot of good changes to shield tree and to the combos as well. Splintering strike now, something powerful. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see as more combat changes come in too, and especially now, I'm really hoping after that respec. Or maybe before it, we'll see how quickly this stuff rolls out. But there was talk of more chances for mages to get crit in various ways. So we'll see how that comes in. Again, I made this wand here today on rock maple with a carapacing strap. It's a very critty wand. It's got the chance from the strap and the crit damage from the rock maple. So I'm going to try to be the crittiest death mage I can and see how it goes. A lot of folks that play a death mage will play it towards like hard maple, towards damage rather than base spell damage rather than crit spell damage. I don't know. It's all a lot of fun. Whatever happens, certainly in the respec, I'll learn a lot just from playing that different style again, that different mage style. I'm sure I'll be learning a lot of stuff I didn't know, as far as how skills work together and just what's practical and all that stuff. And that'll also be fun, and that'll be very helpful as a crafter too in the future. Also, we're excited to have some more light armor skills again and do stuff. That crit hit defense. It's gonna be fun trying that out too. Yeah, a lot of stuff. It's gonna be cool. I can't wait to respec. I'm waiting a little while longer. This wand was a big thing that I was waiting for. Now that I have other ones I can use my offhand, I don't have to wait for the offhand to be enchantable. So I probably won't. I'll probably just do a little more farming of the new zones and try to get some more of the new recipes and this new content that's come in, and that's really all that's holding me up on the respec. I'm usually not. I every now and then I cut loose. I fly to Vegas. I take a perhaps large sum, but a predetermined sum I will not exceed, and I sit down at the craps table or stand at the craps table and have a little fun for the weekend. And then I fly home and I don't tell my wife so she doesn't divorce me. But we'll still have a house. You know, I'm not going to mortgage the house for it. And just a little recreational gambling. Never hurt anybody. Anyway, yeah, I want to farm out some of this new content, get some of these new recipes, do all that stuff, and have a lot of fun. You know, I've been having a lot of fun doing that, but I don't want to be respecking in the middle of that and not be able to do it and stuff like that. Especially like Ruins of Ravensmoor, where I'm trying to get the Death Shrine spawn. I want the recipe for the Death Shrine, but for goodness sake, I don't. You know, if I'm a death mage, it's gonna be so hard. I don't want to go down and have to kill the Inquisitor as a death mage when he's a giant lich. So that's the thing that's holding me off on my respecs for now. Once I start getting more of that stuff done, and I've seen more about that stuff, I'll take the time. It'll probably be a couple days, or a day or two, depending on how much crafting I'm doing at the time and how much in-game time I have. Probably a day or two before I'm really back to like proper adventuring. Get those skills trained up, get them rounded off, get used to using the debt stacking skills. It's gonna be a different playstyle on my end at the keyboard and at the mouse. So I don't know, maybe a week or so will be about when that's happening. We'll see. I'll be streaming some of it, a lot of it. I'll cut out the boring parts. You know, I'm not gonna make you watch me spam train stuff for 2 hours, or even when I first start going out into lower level zones once my skills are high enough. I'll start going out into zones and instead of spam training at a dummy, I'll train on stuff that's at least giving me a little loot and a little bit of XP. And in fact, a lot of that will probably be the lower level zones, like farming out for the some of the new offhands against lower level creatures, because the commons can drop off lower level creatures now. So that'll be there. I'm gonna be ending soon. This is pretty much an ending soon screen. It's just me standing around at a table, but I do have a much nicer, much cooler ending screen. They'll pull up. Thank you. Shane and I that was in chat earlier. He had these scenes and stuff, and he actually got them reworked for me so that I could use them because he wasn't using them anymore. So he actually the puzzle drift thing. He actually had them reworked by the artist, and so now I get these awesome screens. But thank you guys for coming in. Tomorrow probably just like some adventure, and I'll probably hop on just for a little bit around. You know, I got some actual stuff to take care of, some actual work stuff to do, but I'll probably hop in and do a little adventure. Maybe we could all get a party together and go out and kill some stuff, or do something to just kind of relax. Well, I mean, you know, if killing stuff's relaxing to you, whatever. Nice laid back chill stream is what I'm looking for tomorrow. All right. That's about it. I'm gonna Strider Green's on, who's awesome. He's also a crafter. We'll see what he's doing, and we're you know, I'll still be in game. I'll still be hanging out a little bit. And we're just gonna move the party over to his channel. Oh man, very happy with those death wands. Very happy with those death wands. Thanks a ton, guys. I will see you next time.